How's it going, guys? Welcome to the HFD podcast. KP, how are you?
Big man, how you doing?
Not too bad. We've got a special guest with us tonight, haven't we?
We do, man. We got Adrian with us. So, everyone in the chat, we got Adrian. Adrian, how you doing, man?
Not too bad yourself.
Yeah, good, man. Good.
Good to have you on the show. We did say that we're gonna have a special guest tonight,
We did.
and we did say that he's gonna be talking about fighting and combat sports, and
Yeah.
that's his expertise. So really excited about that, guys. But anyone in the chat, how you going? I saw Dane Atney was in there talking about Jimmy T.
He says he hopes Jimmy's here. It's his favorite influencer. So,
Yeah, but
it's-
he's everyone's favorite influencer. But,
he is.
but guys, if you're brand new to the show, make sure you like, share, subscribe.
You're looking for it.
Yeah, subscribe.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Dane Atney says, hey, Adrian, how you doing, man?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
Yeah, so
This is the first guest we've ever had.
it is. It's like the first, outside of, people that are, in the friend circle that, guests. Yeah, no,
Yeah, not
so
that we haven't. Like we've had other people on the show, but
that people we've known for long periods.
people we've known.
Yeah.
Like I've just met you, so
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
cool,
It's
it's
good.
cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
it's cool, man. Maybe we're gonna get more people as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Get more interviews happening.
Definitely.
But, no, very excited, guys. Very excited. Amanda says hello. She's on the chat.
Amanda, how are you?
How you going?
Yep. So tonight, where the primary focus is going to be, we're going to be talking about fighting in general, about these
Yep.
influencers, what the impact they're having on fighting. Because me and you have spoken about it before. So we'll give a bit of a background about Adrian. Adrian, you're a physio now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been physio now for about 10 years.
Yep, 10 years. So if there's anyone from Adelaide that, Adrian is actually my physio and he's the best physio I've had. And so anyone wants it, Adrian is Nova Sports Physio, isn't it?
Nova Sports.
Yeah,
Physio.
Nova Sports Physio. So we'll put that in the description for anyone, anyone from Adelaide. If they want to go see Adrian, I highly recommend it from me. So, yeah. But more of the background on that is you've actually fought in the ring, right?
I have, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to give us a bit of a background on that?
Yeah, so I started... Actually, it was my twin brother that got me into it in the first place. So when I was about 19...
Is he your bigger twin brother or little? Who's older?
Oh, he's older. He's by
older?
half an hour.
He's by half an hour. With Steve Waugh and Mark Waugh, Mark Waugh was a minute younger, and they used to call him Junior.
Oh, really?
So he's half an hour older, eh?
He's half an hour older, yeah. So
wow.
he, when we were about 19, I reckon it was,
Yeah.
he went to just a general gym,
Yeah.
and there was a group that were renting out space doing Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Oh, come down and give it a shot." I was like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "No, I want to do boxing.
You
I'd
want
do
to do,
boxing, straight boxing."
Yeah,
and
just
that's
straight
it.
boxing, yeah.
And he goes, you use hands and knees, elbows, kicks, everything. I was like, all right. So I gave it a shot, enjoyed it, and then, long story short, he ended up doing amateur boxing.
Yeah.
And then I went off to do Muay Thai, and I kind of enjoyed it, started doing it more and more and more. And I got to a point where I thought, I'll give it a crack and go on the ring, see what it is.
Yeah.
And then had one fight, so I have another fight,
Yeah.
got invited to another show. And before you know it, just having fight after fight.
Yeah.
And just did it for a few years.
Yeah,
And
cool. How many fights did you rack up in
I had 7 fights in the end.
in a couple of years?
I reckon I had 2 fights, then had a couple of years off.
Yeah.
And then I had about 3 years after that.
Yeah.
3
yeah.
more years, yeah.
Did you miss it, man?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah?
I mean, look, I loved the training. I loved all that.
Yeah.
The dieting's hard.
Yeah,
the weight
100%,
cutting and all that.
100%.
But definitely the competition.
Yeah.
The training and all that. I do miss it. It's demanding.
What weight would you be now, normal weight? If you just normal Adrian weight now. Yeah, walking around weight now.
Walking around right now, I'd be at about 76.
So, and what were you fighting at? What?
63.
63.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what class was that? That's not featherweight.
That was lightweight.
Lightweight.
Yeah. So back then, though, I was walking around about 68 to 70 kilo.
Yeah.
And then just doing the hard training, cut out all the junk, just eat properly.
Yeah.
Because you train very hard. So all the training.
Oh,
drop
yeah,
weight easy.
I was saying that to Chris. I'd see that with soccer. Once off season comes, I put on weight. It's
Yeah.
But I asked you the question, would you miss it? Because I know the day I retire from soccer, I will miss it.
Oh, you would.
When you got a thing that you love, a trade like that, it's
Yeah. you get moments where you get that itch. You just want to get back to it.
Were you on Knees of Fury? Because Don't At Me's from Adelaide.
Twice. Yeah,
Twice.
I was on it twice.
There you go,
yeah,
man.
back. I'm just trying how long ago that was.
I remember Knees of Fury. Well, that's what my cousin Tony was at TJ's as well. My cousin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But he was a bit old. He's older than me, so he'd be in his 40s now, and he fought on it. So it's probably a bit before your when you. I think he did one on Knee, but I remember Knees of Fury was big in Adelaide.
Yeah, I only
for a good period.
Yeah, so I had 2 fights on Knees of Fury. My first one though was when they moved to Don Polsky. So I never got to fight at like the West Beach and those ones. But
yeah, cool.
Wow. So the question I want to ask is like the training regiment you used to do before a fight. Like, what would that involve?
Before a fight, so for
Yeah,
that
like
training camp?
getting ready to go into a fight. Like, would you have to train a specific way, like, or how many times a week?
You mean like Rocky running up the stairs?
Yeah, it's a lot Rocky.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Nah, so 6 days a week training.
Oh, 6 days. Wow.
Yeah, so
okay.
you didn't do, it wouldn't be like intense pads every single
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So you would have, let's say, Monday would be pad work, Tuesday, and you do other things in between. But Tuesday then would be a bit of conditioning and then partner work. So work a bit more the technical side, which is still cardiovascular work, but it's more technical. Then you might repeat pads Wednesday, Thursday technical, Friday sparring.
Yeah.
And then Saturday I would have off. Sunday then I'll do some runs. So there's the snake pit over at Lugs.
Yeah, we do it with soccer. Like,
that's grueling.
Every Sunday I was doing that.
Yeah. See, during preseason we were doing. Back this not anymore. We used to do it every Sunday for preseason.
Yeah, snake pit's great.
Oh yeah.
Kills you.
And honestly, for replicating a fight kind of prep, it was perfect because you had moments where you're powering up the heels, and you got moments down here, so it's a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah,
but you're trying to keep it consistent each time. Trying to keep it consistent.
I was telling you before we went live. I used to do martial arts, and I remember we used to do sparring, and also when I used to do wrestling in the ring. But anytime you get into the ring, I reckon for me personally, it was like cardiovascular wise, it's like the hardest. Like, running's hard, don't get me wrong.
It's different fitness. It's completely different fitness.
Yeah, just the fitness is just like crazy.
Well, even if you go from... So I used to do a bit of sparring with boxing, just to work my hands, especially because my twin brother's doing it. I would go and do a bit with him as well, or, the other boxers.
Just different.
Yeah, and the thing is, I found that even just switching from kickboxing to boxing, my fitness felt like it dropped.
Yeah.
But it was just purely that your breathing technique with it changes.
Oh, okay.
So I found a lot of times it's also the fact that your breathing technique is different because you're focused on whatever it is you're doing. Yeah. That's different to you. It's not, you can't just, it doesn't flow as easy for you.
Yeah.
And it's Matt just trying to get that under control.
Yeah. Well, I had a coach here that, so this is going back before the A-League, he used to play National League, but he was a boxer. Like he was a boxer before he was a soccer player. And this guy was one of the best soccer players I'd ever seen. Lemmy Vatsilis, his name was, but he was the fittest guy I'd ever come across in my whole life. Like so he played national, Australia level, like soccer, boxing as well. And the guy was just like next level. Like I remember when he was coaching us, he was 51 or something. He was fitter than all of us. And like we were young men, like in our 20s, like just free because he was training boxing every day, soccer. Like it was just next level, but it was so hard on his body. Like he just never stopped though. You're saying like, have a break, like, because the training is so intense. It's intense, like you said,
Yeah, it looks really intense.
Oh, dude.
Like you look at some of those the UFC guys, and you just know they're fit.
Well,
like
look
the
at
way
look at some of the boxers and that you can see. Like, look at Ricky Hatton when he's not fighting. When he's fighting, what is he like? 60 kilos. Yeah, and then when he's not fighting, he's like huge. Yeah, and he's only a small guy, like shorter than us. Like he kegs it when he's not fighting, or when he used to fight anyway. Like that's what he, because you want that break. Like it's not about that you say you want to get overweight or anything. It's like it's hard. That's the.
Did you have to make weight as well for your?
Yeah. So definitely every time you've got to make weight. If you're even a couple 100 grams over,
really?
Yeah. So if you're over, depending on how much you're over, they'll try and make you cut it.
Yeah.
So you got to try and go back and cut it off. And I think they'll give you like an hour or two, depending on the promotion.
Yeah.
And then you
ever had close calls?
No, I was always pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, no, I was always good. My first fight was a lot heavier than I probably should have. So I fought at 66.
Yeah.
And I jumped on the scales at 63 and a half. So I was a lot lighter than I probably should have been. And the bloke I fought was huge. And I found later he walks around at 80 kilos. So he was staunch. But So after that, I was like, nah, I got to drop down the weight. But I was always pretty diligent with making
Yeah.
sure, kept checking it,
Yeah.
always on top of it.
Like it always like trips me out when I think about it because like, you know, I'm looking at it from like soccer. Like my playing weight at soccer was always 77 kilos, 76.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like you hear boxers like Adrian's like my size cutting to 63. If I was 63 kilos on a soccer field, I'd get killed. You know, not just like you put it into perspective, like it's just.
But it's also the way you got to cut it too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for like right now, if I were to fight now,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do 63.
No
I
way.
couldn't get back down.
Or you do like 70 now, you reckon? 72, 73?
Yeah, probably. I'll probably go 68, 70.
Yeah,
even.
68, 70.
What I usually like, what I would do, and this is what I did was so 68, 70 was what I would walk around at.
Yeah.
Train hard, just eat clean. So I wouldn't starve myself, just eat clean, and naturally drop down to about 66.
Yeah.
And then that last week, that's where you start doing. You try to cut on water.
Yeah.
So what you do is you do
Yeah.
a big water load. So you drink a lot of water, you cut out the
And just
carbs,
try.
and you just try and flush it out. And then the day of weigh-in, I would usually weigh about 64, so about 2 kilos over.
Yeah.
That day, not eat, and then cut in the sauna about 1 kilo,
Yeah.
and then I was good. A lot of guys do like you like John Wayne Parr.
Yeah.
He cut like 10 kilos in 2
But you can
days.
see what it's done on his body now. You see his face. Like you can see. I don't know if Chris knows him, but JW, you can see him now. It's taken its toll on him. And you know, like some actors have even talked about that, like Christian Bale and Tom Hardy has said, like, it fucked his body.
Oh,
doing it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. And the other thing with it is that that's why you see some fights, you see guys get knocked out and you think, oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You should get knocked out.
But it's
Like,
probably
rigged.
dehydrated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because the thing is, around about, depending on your size,
Yeah.
roughly about, I can't remember what it was, I think it was half kilo to 1 kilo of the water that you lose comes from your muscles first.
Yeah.
After that, it will come from your organs.
Yeah.
So that's including your
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah. That's
So
right. Yeah. Yeah.
if you're cutting that much weight,
Yeah.
you're going to dehydrate your brain.
Well, that's sort of like that. I can't remember what we've spoken about it before, that Danny Green fight. Well, after
yeah.
he was like congratulating the bloke, but he'd won because he didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
He was congratulating his opponent for beating him, but he won the fight. Like Danny Green actually won.
Yeah.
I don't remember. That was in Australia, I think, was it? But he was going, oh, Chris, well done, you know, great fighter, but he won. And everyone was like, what the fuck's wrong with him? But he was just gone. Like, he was so dehydrated.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And he probably wouldn't even remember that fight.
no, he
you know what
wouldn't.
I mean?
No way. No way, man.
No, it's
Crazy.
crazy.
So, we always, like, before we get into that stuff, you always, like, studying to be a physio while you're doing all that, or?
Yeah, so when I was training,
Yeah.
I was studying.
Yeah.
And I actually had my first fight straight after I finished, when I graduated from
Yeah,
physio.
graduate,
So
yeah.
it just fell in timing.
Yeah, cool.
That way. And yes, I was a physio throughout pretty
Yeah.
much fighting, really.
Do you feel that you look at, like injuries, like, from a different perspective because you, like, fought and stuff?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
when I broke my leg, I had Matthew Liptak was my surgeon.
Yep.
And he said that to me. He goes, when I was a footy player, he goes, I looked at injuries completely different as to once I became a doctor.
Yep.
He goes, now I look at them so differently as to when I, you know, was just didn't know things, so to speak.
I think I was lucky that when I was competing was when I was already physio. So I
Yeah.
was starting to learn, but it was good because I felt like I could. You obviously get injured. You
Yeah,
get a couple
of
injuries.
course. That's
I
every
felt like I
sport.
could relate and understand a lot of what people are talking about. And from there too, as an athlete too, I understood when athletes would come in to say to them, stop training, have a week off. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
And that's where a lot of people kind of go wrong because that person doesn't stop. So they keep going and they don't get any better, but it's because they haven't stopped. But it's so hard to just say, I'm going to have a week off when you're that committed to what you're doing. So trying to understand that and find a way that, because quite a few injuries, you can do some sort of training. Yeah. You know, things like
active
fractures
recovery.
and whatever else. Yeah, or like, you know, if, for example, after one of my fights, my shins were really banged up.
Yeah.
So I couldn't kick. I worked on my hands.
Yeah.
For a few weeks, I just worked hands and you know, got them. So, you know, you can work on something else with your craft.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of trying to find out what can you still do and keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
Well, you know, like I'll use it like example. Like when I've played soccer non-stop, like for my whole life. And when I did my back, whenever it was, that's when I met Adrian. I couldn't find anyone that was helping me fix it. And I remember I went to that's when I met Adrian, and we were doing active recovery, and it got me through it, and I started playing again. And because you, like you're saying, you got it in your head, you can't take that time. just training. It's hard for you to think, what, I've got to stop for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got to
exactly
stop.
right.
What are you talking about?
You
Like,
know what? It can be counterproductive as well
Yeah.
because then you've stopped.
Yeah.
Now you try and go back to it.
Yeah.
And you're deconditioned.
Yeah.
So then you do a ham, and that's where a
Yeah.
lot of athletes, you know, when they get one injury and
Yeah.
suddenly riddled with
Yeah,
injuries,
yeah.
it's because they're taking that time off. They go straight back into it. Let's say their hamstrings
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
conditioned, it's not strong enough. They do a hammy,
Yeah.
and it just goes into a cascade.
Well, I remember when I broke my leg, I've only ever done like soft tissue muscle, like probably once. I'm so lucky with them, like whatever. All my injuries have been like given to me, like a broken bone or something. But I remember Liptak said to me, I was coming back from the broken leg, and he goes, "Listen, I'm going to tell you now." He goes, "You're going to do a hammy or something after this." And I did my hamstring that year back because it was just I came back and this leg.
Yeah.
Like it was, my calf was small, and I was looking at it thinking, what's going on with that leg, bro? Like it's just, so it's weird, man. Like
it's if you're doing it for so long,
yeah.
and then you have to stop. It's
So Dom Polsky is the best venue. Don't at me says.
It's a good venue.
Good venue.
That's
There you
the
go.
Polish place.
Yeah, well then Amanda says anything Polish is the best because
she's
she's
Polish.
Polish. Johnny says hi all. Johnny's one of our other
Johnny G. How you going?
podcasters with us. Hey Johnny, how you doing? Do you know the Leondaris clan, Adrian?
No, I've heard of them.
You've heard of them? Yeah, but don't know them yet.
No, not personally.
Yeah.
No.
So you were doing kickboxing, is that right?
Yeah, Muay Thai.
So that's not the same as MMA, is it? Like
Nah,
you
MMA
can't
you
grab,
can
can
no.
No. So Muay Thai you can do clinch work. So that's why you're standing up and you're clinching. You
But
throw
you
the
can
knees,
knee and
You
stuff.
can
yeah.
knee.
but you don't take it to the ground.
No. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
me and Adrian have spoke about it before, man, because we got something. Adrian's favorite fighter is Greek bloke. Zambitis.
Diabetes.
He was the best, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I know Chris probably doesn't know, but he.
I don't know. No.
Well, you know, me and Adrian have talked that he fought this Turkish guy, and obviously, you know, there's history with Greeks and Turks and that, right? Gurkhan Özkan. And when we watched it live in this room, right, my dad didn't know who he was, and my dad was cheering for Zambitis, and that was one of the best knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
It was,
Like,
and you know what? That was one of those knockouts where it just.
it was so good, wasn't it? Like the way he
And
did
you know
it.
what? You didn't see it coming at the
Nah,
like,
he was.
he copped. Gurkhan copped a lot of hits.
Yeah,
But he still looked alright.
Yeah.
And that one hit he dropped like a towel.
and like before the fight, this Gurkhan Özkan was like saying things like derogatory, like Turkish things to the
Yeah.
Greek side of things, and
Oh, okay.
mate,
When was this?
this would have been early 2000s. Yeah.
A long time ago.
And what's Zambitis? Well, he's probably what 5'8" or something.
Yeah,
he's
he's
not, but he's
short.
just
Dude,
the
nugget.
guy.
He was like a little pit bull.
Dude. a bit taller than Volkanovski, I reckon. But he was just
Probably.
yeah.
Similar.
I think Volkanovski's probably shorter than us. I think he's 5. Yeah, maybe
quite
5'7".
short,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a bit shorter than us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just little. Yeah, pitbull man. Like he was the best, wasn't he? Like, he was-
I watched I studied his fights.
Oh, he was
I
so good.
You know, I loved just studying what he did. The way he used to, because he fought taller opponents as
Yeah.
well. Always.
He was very similar in that sense. Sorry to cut you off, to his namesake, because he was Iron Mike Zambitis
Yeah.
to Mike Tyson, wasn't he?
100%.
Tyson fought taller people and just used to be able to
Very
get under him.
explosive,
But he was
yeah.
like that, wasn't he?
100%.
Yeah.
And the way he used to do it, because he would circle around him.
Yeah.
So you get out of their range,
Yeah.
circle around, and he would step in, and he'd usually come in with an overhand right,
Yeah.
and then he'll close the distance with it, and then with there throw a body shot
Yeah.
or a hook to the head, depending on where the guard is, jump back out,
Yeah.
circle around him. So they're constantly trying to recalibrate. By the time they've recalibrated to where he is, he's come in.
And that's like I said, that's very similar to like Tyson, because I've watched him. Tyson says it. He goes, "I'll go bump, 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 and then I'll pop to the side and get him around the side, move
Yeah,
sideways,
because
sideways."
they don't.
No. And because he's short, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like Tyson is
And they
my
don't
height,
expect
5'10". Like
Yeah.
that's not tall.
And they
They're
probably don't
quite
expect you to go to the side.
Nah.
They don't expect you to do that, like the other fighters.
No, well, that's the thing. I mean,
problem.
it's if someone does move to the side, and then a lot of times you do angle off, but if someone angles off, you've now got to change your positioning for
Yeah.
them. And if they can get in quick enough, while you're doing that, they can take that, they can execute. That's the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I
Well,
like
I was watching a thing with Mike Tyson. He was saying they were asking him like when he's boxing, and he goes, "I don't even look at the opponent's head." He goes, "I'm looking at their shoulders." He goes, "I can see the muscles twitching if they're gonna punch."
Oh, really?
Is that true?
100%. Yeah. So you can see that rotation because that's where it starts from.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't even look at their face.
And that's why in in kickboxing or Muay Thai, like a lot of times you look around that trunk and and the hips.
Yeah.
You know, you can see that movement.
Yeah.
You know what's coming.
Because
And
Muay
that's
Thai's
where
a
lot of
very,
fame-
it's a very open stance, isn't it? Muay Thai, like the leg, yeah.
And that's where even like you see a lot of boxers, they're famed by using the shoulders.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah,
twitch
yeah,
that shoulder because that's what you can see
Yeah.
first. That's when you know someone's coming up.
What's the stance of Muay Thai? Is it more like that, isn't it? Where you like that?
If you go real traditional, like
Yeah, like
way back.
I'm
Like
thinking, I'm
like-
thinking of Kickboxer, you know the movie?
Yeah.
Well, like Alan Wong style, like when we were saying about, like me and my brothers and all that used to know, me and Adrian know that this guy, Alan Wong, he had a gym here.
Yeah.
What was his gym called again? It was Flinders, right. And Alan is a Thai, right? He was in the ring at 9 years old, like back in Thailand. Like, you know what I mean? Like they like live and breathe it like a Brazilian breathe soccer. Like they're just...
Yeah, and the thing they used to do is they used to have that. So the idea was back in the day in Thailand
So that...
is palms out
Yeah.
and out wider because you catch elbows.
Yeah.
So someone throws an elbow, you can catch them.
Oh, right.
Punches very rarely thrown in Muay Thai.
Traditional, back then,
traditionally.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
punches were nothing.
Because this was deadly,
You
isn't
didn't
it?
even get points of punching. Like
Yeah.
it's just pointless.
Oh, right.
It was elbows, knees, and kicks.
Yeah.
So
brutal.
that's why I used to have that stance. And then over time, you'd get people like Raymond Deckers, John Wayne Park, all these Westerners started going to Thailand and competing.
Yeah.
And because they were Westerners, they had that
The
that
punch.
punch,
yeah.
yeah.
That
That's the
mentality, yeah.
and especially Dutch like Raymond Deckers, they had good hands. So they used to go there.
And some
they
of the
would
Dutch
knock
were really good too in that Muay
very
Thai, yeah.
very good. So they used to knock out these Thais. So that's where it evolved a little bit over time where they start bringing in the closest stance.
Yeah.
You still get some guys who talk about traditional Muay Thai and they'll still do this, but
But they can be open, aren't
got
they?
an open guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, look, in my view of, you know, when talk about traditions are good, but if the times have changed and they're not
You gotta move
warranted, you got to adapt.
Yeah.
You know, and the Thais have adapted.
Yeah.
You go to Thailand, you train there. A lot of them will
Yeah.
have a bit close guard because if you're gonna
Yeah.
fight Westerners, you got to have
Yeah,
close
yeah,
guard.
yeah.
You know?
I think I used to like the way Bruce Lee used to fight. Like, if he used to like fight in his movies, especially like if it was a guy that was a judo guy, his stance would change to
But that's his.
this. You know,
I've read
Where
his.
he's fighting normally, he'd fight more
But
open.
I've read his
But
book.
it depends on who's fighting and like what he's trying to limit their
Well, that's
their
what
advantages.
I've read his book, and his whole philosophy was it was like there was a soccer player like that, Cruyff. He wanted
Yeah.
complete football, total football it was called.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee wanted like a total type of martial arts, like
Yeah.
everything
yeah,
in one, really. Like that.
Yeah, he was like that. He was.
You know, it's a shame, you know, that you didn't get to see it more. He died young and that, but
Yeah.
if it had have developed more, like if he had have lived longer, you probably would have seen so much more.
Oh
of it.
man, some of the movies that would have came out.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing with it is when you're fighting, the main thing you should try and do is manipulate your opponent to do what you want them to do.
yeah,
So like, you've got your style, you've got your strengths.
yeah,
Try and manipulate them, get them to the
Yeah.
position that you want them to then utilize your
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you've got, and finding how you can get around, you know, everyone's got their strengths, but everyone's got their weaknesses.
yeah, of course.
And it's funny, you see that in some fighters, like for example, Nicky Holskin, for example, he's a Dutch kickboxer.
Yeah.
He was smashing everyone. Awesome fighter. One person beats him. They found it. They figured it out.
Find his weakness.
And
After that, everyone's figured it out.
Yeah.
They see, all right, that's what worked. And until that person goes back and can correct it, which
Yeah.
is hard because for so long you've done this certain thing
Oh,
that's worked a lot
correct.
for you, and
Yeah.
now you've got to change it. It's really hard,
Well-
and that's where you start losing. You know.
They say that about footy players and soccer players. Like you get a young guy burst on the scene. In the first year, he's ripping everyone up because there's no data on him. Then the next year,
Yeah.
they're like, why has he hit a brick wall? It's because everyone knows.
Exactly.
He's got to find new tricks.
Yeah.
You know, you can't.
Seen what worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What? is
Well,
the-
before you go,
Oh,
I'll
sorry,
read. We've got a
yeah,
few
yeah.
chats. I'll read them out. So your mate, our actual next week, we're probably having a guest.
we
So
do
we
have
have
another.
Two Italian guests in a row. So we've got Adrian and Giuseppe next week is going to come on from
Well, yeah, we
Healthy Nasty Kitchen.
next Tuesday. I think we're having Giuseppe on.
Yeah.
Still got to make a few phone calls to him
Yeah.
and
Cool.
double check. But yeah, he's a chef.
So he says,
Oh,
how you
nice.
doing? Looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
Don't at me says, hey, Giuseppe. Amanda says, the only boxing match I've ever really watched was Danny Green versus Diablo, the Polish guy, live in Perth. Because she was over there.
Wow, that would have been good. I don't know.
I don't know him. But there you go.
Danny Green is massive in Perth because
He would have been, yeah. He would have been huge there.
Yeah.
Jimmy's in the chat. Don't at me's calling him One Lick Jim because he's got to do a I did a chili challenge.
Oh, okay.
But like I beat it, but like Chris like lost it. But Jim hates chili.
Yeah.
So all the people like trying to get into
I
it.
ate the chip and I was
But then
like,
lost
I
it.
nearly died.
Yeah.
And then we tried to get Jim to do it, but he wouldn't do it. But if Australia
Get out of their group.
get out of their group and make it to the last 16, then he has to eat a
He will do
chip.
it.
And he's going to be in the hospital.
It's like the hottest chip in the world.
Apparently.
Hottest corn chip.
Apparently.
Poor chip.
Apparently. All right. So, you know, we've touched on a bit of...
Reeves.
Reeves is here. Reborn, how you doing, man? He's
from England.
He's from England. He's a Liverpool fan. So, you know, we let him off for being a Liverpool fan.
Are you a soccer fan or a football fan?
Look, I used to follow Juventus back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that where family's from? Like that area?
Nah, my family's from Calabria.
Oh, Calabria.
So,
Calabrese,
yeah.
yeah. You know, I know a lot of Calabres that actually follow Juventus.
A lot of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It must be a thing.
We don't really have a team.
Yeah, that's right. They don't,
so,
yeah.
You know, we tend to.
I think their team could be... They do have one, but it's in lower leagues, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's low.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we tend to follow Juventus.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of us.
They're obsessed with Man United.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Listen, man, I've said it before. My dad's been supporting United since the 50s.
Yeah.
You know, like, so...
Yeah.
This whole show could turn into a United show without you knowing.
Just turn it-
That's how crazy it
It
is.
could turn. So, do you follow football or anything?
Nah,
Nah,
not
not
really.
that
So I
fun.
mainly follow, obviously, like martial arts.
Oh, you follow basketball because we
Basketball, NBA,
we
like,
follow the same
yeah,
team.
yeah.
So, Chris is you've the Pistons, aren't you?
Oh, really?
So we're like he's a bit against
I
us.
guess I got family over in Detroit.
Yeah, he
that's
does.
why.
He's got some family
okay,
there.
yeah.
Well, Adrian follows Chicago. He's like he's one of them.
Yeah,
So he's with me
Detroit.
and John.
Chicago. I mean, as a kid, everyone went for Chicago.
It's
Listen,
funny because you
Jordan,
can see, you can know what generation people are in based on what
100%,
NBA team they go
100%,
for.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
look, I could say I don't really follow it, but when I was younger, I used to go for Chicago Bulls
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
But we're of that age group. Like, how old are you now, Adrian? You're a bit
33.
younger. So Adrian's a bit younger than us. But growing up, we saw Jordan because it was my prime
Yeah.
era. Like it was, you couldn't
Yeah,
not
well-
support him, bro. Like
yeah,
it was,
exactly.
Well, I remember when I was at primary school, we used to have the upper deck.
yeah.
Upper
Oh
deck
man,
cards.
I had so many.
So I had the
cards,
90, 94,
Yeah.
95. I still got them at home.
Yeah, right.
And I got all the Jordan
I got
cards.
so
They
many.
probably weren't. They probably
Dude,
weren't
do you know how many
something,
Jordan cards I got? I got like his triple double card. I got
Yeah.
so many, like,
But yeah, no, we used to be nuts back then. But
Don't at me's paying me out too, man. He says we'll become a United podcast at any moment.
it could.
So you know, we've touched on a bit of Adrian's background on that. Like we've updated on the chat and that. If there's anyone there, you know, that hasn't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. But so we'll touch into a few of the, you know, the current fighting things. Like the first thing I'll ask you is, we'll a bit about boxing. Where do you put Fury, man? Is he? I mean, he's undefeated champion, undefeated heavyweight champion. The only one since Marciano, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is
probably.
he? Where is he in the echelons in history? Where
I'll
does he
say,
go
bro,
down?
yeah, he's definitely one of the greatest in my opinion.
He
Like
has to be,
he'll
doesn't
go
he?
down in history.
has
I
to be.
mean, he's and just what he's done is different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. You look at a lot of the greatest, or you know, the ones that people talk about.
Yeah.
And it's because they did something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what he's done
Yeah.
is incredible. And even just his comeback.
Yeah.
I
the
mean-
comeback. That's why I love him. And he's a Man
Yeah.
United fan.
yeah.
Always come back to that.
Yeah. No. He's like I love him too, man. I'm
you
with
look at his
Adrian. He's,
comeback from
yeah.
being able to, he couldn't even run like he was.
yeah.
just-
Oh man, he's
and
overweight.
then he didn't just come back fighting, you know, getting the rust off. He went up and he still fought the top
Yeah.
notch guys, you know.
Yeah.
And he's done amazing things with it.
Yeah. He's
I,
like.
I actually like. He seems like a cool guy as well.
He's down to earth, eh?
Yeah.
He is, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
he's-
it's just down to earth, and it's interesting that I personally find like his technique is awkward. Like
Yeah.
like he does one thing one thing he does is when he throws his cross, his back leg comes up,
Yeah.
which is a very
Oh yeah, because
very unusual. You always have
It's like
your
a
feet
tell.
down,
yeah,
you know?
because you could like fall over. Or
Oh,
something,
well,
yeah.
you just don't
Yeah.
do it. Like you generally, when you throw a punch, you move with the hips, your feet
Yeah.
are pivoting,
Yeah.
and things like that. But the thing with him is that he's a very smart boxer though, in that he throws, he knows how to find the openings,
Yeah.
finds the openings, executes well. He's just a really smart boxer, and yeah, he'll go down.
He's a
great.
monster, man.
He is.
Like,
Well, he's 6'9", bro.
6'9".
Well, See, I've spoken about this with Adrian before. Like, you know, there's always that debate, like we said, you know, people like, oh, Michael Jordan or LeBron, Pele, Maradona. They're like, oh, what if he fought Muhammad Ali? But I said this to Adrian before, and we'll get your views on it. Like, listen, Muhammad Ali is like Tyson, one of the greatest. But what is Muhammad Ali at 6'2", gonna do against a 6'10"? Like, he's never fought a 6'10" bloke. Like, that's
yeah.
massive, bro. They weren't like that back then.
Nah.
Like Tyson
You
probably
got
fought.
Foreman, that's about
Yeah,
it.
like Tyson probably fought. I think maybe Larry Holmes was tall. Like his first fight, like he was 6'4" maybe, but 6'10's another. Like, it's another stratosphere.
Yeah, I mean, you change your tactics,
Yeah.
obviously, and whether you can get around it. I mean, if you're going up against guys so much bigger
Yeah.
and powerful, you try and obviously stick a move. So you get in there, throw your shots, come out, circle. Like, some people find it's a boring style, but it's a smart tactic. Get in, get out, move around. Get in, get out, move around.
Yeah.
And get those points up. If, in saying that though, Tyson Fury, the other thing that's good about him is he's got speed to him. He's actually
For a big guy.
for a big guy, he moves really well. And that's where he can be challenging because, I mean, you've got other guys that are big, but they don't really move that great.
Yeah.
And once again, it kind of goes to what we were talking about before, where once someone beats them, people can often find the kink in their armor.
Well, I think it sort of happened with Joshua, didn't it?
Yeah. You look at Joshua. I mean, he's a good boxer, but
Fury will kill him, I think.
100%.
I think the best thing that's happened for him is that he hasn't never got to fight him.
Fury. Yeah, I'll put money on
And
Fury.
you know what? I said it to you. I think if he fights, I think Wilder will beat Joshua.
Wilder.
Just because he's got that.
Oh, is that the next fight?
No, that's the one. Well, Wilder, Fury, they had a trilogy.
Yeah, but isn't Wilder facing someone, and whoever wins that fights Fury next?
No, I think Wilder might be taking on Ruiz.
Fury having one more fight?
Isn't Wilder taking Ruiz? And Fury's...
Yeah, Wilder, Ruiz, that's right.
Fury's copping a lot of slack because because he's fighting Chisora.
Yeah,
and he's beaten Chisora twice, hasn't he? Maybe...
I think definitely once.
Yeah, and like people are saying...
But it was convincing, right?
People are saying it's a bit of a, look after your mates thing because he's English as well.
Oh, look.
But the way I look at it is, okay, there might be that, but who else is there? He's decimated the whole division.
If there was legitimately one other person, let's say he hadn't fought Wilder yet, and Wilder's been knocking everyone out and all that stuff, then it's like fair enough. It's like you should fight Wilder.
And he said he tried to get the Usyk fight.
Yeah, and look, to be honest, Usyk's a great fighter.
Yeah,
but it's such a big size difference. Like
exactly,
it's extremely
because there was a big difference for him and Joshua. Yeah. Imagine him to Fury.
Yeah. So, but the thing is,
I think it's huge, Chris.
Oh, the thing is, it's like I said, unless there was someone where it's like, oh yeah, he genuinely could beat Fury. Yeah. There's no one I believe that's there. So fair enough. Take whatever fight you want for your last retirement fight.
Yeah.
So do you reckon Fury's going to retire with the belt?
I think so.
Like, no, he'll be
Isn't it Lennox did that, didn't he? Lennox Lewis retired champion, I think. I don't think anyone...
I reckon he did, yeah.
Lennox Lewis, and he was British. He retired as champion, I think.
Yeah, I saw a clip today when he knocked out Tyson.
Do you know that? Tyson should never have had that fight, man. Tyson had been in jail, prison, like when he came back to fight Lennox.
His head wasn't in it.
And he admitted it. Like, it was never there. Like, it was...
His head wasn't in
If he had fought Lennox Lewis, 10 years earlier, it would have been... I'm not saying he would have won, because you never know, but it would have been a completely different... Yeah. When he cared about fighting. He didn't even care about fighting. And he's admitted that.
He even said he got interviewed at the start of one of Mayweather's fights. I just can't remember who it was now he was fighting, but Mayweather's 37 years old.
Yeah.
And the guy that was interviewing said, because there's always talk about, is he too old?
Yeah.
And the guy goes, says to Mike Tyson, do you think he's, at 37, do you think he's too old? Based on your experience.
Yeah.
He was fighting at 37. Yeah. And he goes, there's no such thing as being too old. If you're fit, you're ready, it's a matter of whether your heart's in it. And that's the thing.
That's what I reckon.
Because for me, at 37, my heart was not in it anymore. And that's why I was losing, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How old is Tyson Fury?
Tyson Fury is, I reckon, just a bit older than age. I reckon he's 34.
He's 34,
I think he's 34, yeah.
They're still pretty young.
Yeah. I think he's born in 88.
Like, you look at, like, athletes, like, not like these days. Like, and it's, people say, look at them these days. But you look, like, over the years, like I said, all sports, like, man, there's an Italian soccer player, Paolo Maldini, played in his 40s. At the top level, Ryan Giggs did it. Like, Brent Harvey in AFL. Like, if your heart's in it, you've still got Cristiano Ronaldo's doing it now. If you've got the desire to play and you're physically able, some people's bodies are better than other people's.
Randy Couture.
Yeah,
he was
Randy
the
Couture.
champion. I think he was 40.
He was 40 something. 40? George Foreman came back close to his 50s, didn't he?
Yep.
Really? And fought big fight. Like he retired for 10 years or something and came back.
Fought for the title, won.
Fought for the title and won. Like, and he was.
That's what we were saying before. The fitness is like next level.
Oh, 100%.
To be in those.
Yeah, man.
In the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you're hungry. As long as you're hungry for it.
Yeah.
You're ready for it.
Yeah. I like watching Tyson.
Fury's a champion, but it's just because he's an entertainer as well. I think that's
he is, and sometimes because I'm a wrestling fan, so when he goes into WWE,
He's funny.
He loves it.
Yeah, he's funny.
So I could see him like maybe after retiring, maybe going there, but I don't know.
He'll probably go do stints, I think, but he just, you got to, yeah.
I think he's even talked about doing it.
Yeah, probably.
I think he's actually
he likes
in discussion.
it. Yeah, he likes
I mean,
it.
he's not very like he wouldn't be one of those, high fly wrestlers.
He just doesn't look athletic, does he?
No,
but then
he
you see
doesn't.
him in the ring, like Adrian said, and then he
Doesn't.
moves. You're like, what? Where's he fucking pulling that from? Like, it's just so weird. Like
He just knows when to turn it on.
Yeah, oh, that's what I think it is.
It's one of those things. He just knows when to turn it on.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I think that's where you look at, some of these other, like we're talking about celebrity boxing sort of things.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to get into. We'll get into that now.
Talk about that.
So, like, we can lead in. Yeah, go.
Well, do you think where do you think boxing is at the moment? Like, as a industry, do you think it's like because it was floundering for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But now it's kind of like with Jake Paul and all these YouTubers coming into it now. Do you think it's elevated a little bit?
Whether it's elevated or not, hard to say because there was definitely there's a boxing community, strong boxing community. I loved it, die hard, and there's some great boxers still out there. Definitely, in a way, yes. That I think it brought some new eyes to boxing and it's given it a bit of a talk. Yeah. The thing is, the way I look at boxing is that you've got your amateur boxing, but then you've got your pro boxing, which you can almost split it if you look at it as two divisions.
Yes,
you've got pro boxing where literally to be a pro boxer, all you have to do is pass a medical, sign a form, get your license, and you're a pro boxer.
Is that like the medical commissions? Is that like the same everywhere? Like say America, Australia? Is it?
So when it comes to fighting, it's generally yes.
It's like a world
organisations would have the different rules.
Rules.
So you've got your promoter.
Yeah.
So let's say DAZN had that promotion, but then you've got the body that then brings in the rules. So the body would be like, let's say, the belts that like the linear, or IBO, all them. They're the organisations.
Yeah.
They've got their rules. They've got their judges. They bring in the ref. They organise all that. So the promoter doesn't organise that.
Yeah.
So sometimes when people say, "Oh, the promoter's this and so it's rigged because of that," it's the organisation that brings in the people and makes the rules. The promoter just puts on the show, and those organisations will want to see that you've passed certain medicals, and it also depends on the person too. So, like if you got knocked out in your last fight, you have a suspension.
Is it usually like a 6 month?
3 month.
3 month.
Usually, yeah, and then you've got to pass.
Yeah.
The test obviously and be considered clear to then fight again.
Yeah.
So all those kind of things, and so anyone can really, as long as you're fit, you're healthy, you can pretty much sign up and be a pro boxer. So you can box, but then you and I could sign up and become pro boxers and then fight against each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then you've got the world stage. You've got Canelo, you've got Kambosos Jr. You've got you got all those guys, Lomachenko.
Fury, all the big dogs.
That's the world stage. Now you look at all those guys; they had solid amateur careers.
Tyson Fury could have had 300 fights, eh?
Tyson Fury, I believe, only had like 40 to be honest.
Okay, there you go.
But he still fought in like the national championships and all that. So even in amateurs, you can always split it. You got anyone can jump in as an amateur fighter, but you got those ones that take it the next level. And they compete into Golden Gloves, national championships, Olympics, Commonwealth Games, those things. So a lot of these world-class boxers in pro have hundreds of fights or compete in all those kind of avenues. So they've got a lot. So they've had, let's say, 10, pro boxing fights and become champ. But they've got hundreds of amateur fights and hours and hours and hours of competing at a high level. They understand what's, a lot of them compete in Olympics or Commonwealth Games or Golden Gloves where they understand that pressure as well. That psychological
Well, like Mike Tyson won a gold medal, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So you look at that. So when you got people like Jake Paul, who have just jumped into it. They've signed the forms, gone into it.
Because he's got some money behind him. He can...
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's got a platform. So his name's out there. He's got a platform. He can earn big money. But he won't get to that stage, the world stage. Yeah. He's fighting to the world audience. But he won't get to that world stage because he doesn't have... He just won't. He won't be able to compete with it.
It's because I said this to Chris whenever it was. The point I make with it is... Listen, I don't know how good Fury's brother is, Tommy, right? I don't know much about him. I've seen him and he doesn't really look that good. But he's like the only boxer that's sort of agreed to take the fight. Because I said to Chris...
Oh, but he hates it.
No, but what I'm saying is what does an active boxer have to gain from fighting Jake Paul? Say I'm an active boxer, like you said, whatever, Canelo, right? I'll go fight Jake Paul and somehow I lose. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm tarnished. And if I win,
100%.
they're just going to say, "Oh, well, you beat a YouTuber," aren't they?
Exactly.
So like, you've got nothing to gain if you're a
The
professional
only time, if you want to get your name out, like let's say,
Yeah.
if you, like for example, Tommy Fury,
That's what I'm saying.
100% good idea for
because
him,
he's down.
because he's building himself up.
That's right.
So if he wins, and that's the thing, a lot of times, so boxing is one where records do matter at the start.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and that's where you see a lot of pro boxers, they will take their managers or promoters,
Well,
whatever.
Hooney's doing it. He's take that. Like, he's just taking a lot of fights, getting a good record. They'll say,
a good record with it, and then from there you then get recognised. Because people say, "Oh, you 10 fights, 10 knockouts, whatever it happens to be." So you do want to get those fights that you're probably going to win, and then that way you can get seen because they see your record, they think, "Oh, he's good." You get seen by the bigger guys, and then from there you can then call out, start to get the name fights, and then from there you start to have a name that people want to see. Oh, they want to see Garcia fight Davis, No one, you don't necessarily care about their records. You know who they are as fighters. You want to see them fight.
Yeah.
So for someone like Tommy Fury, who's still building up his record,
Because he's only young, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's only had 5 or 6 fights, something like that.
6 or 7 or something. Yeah.
So, and plus, Jake Paul's a money fight. Why
Of
wouldn't
course.
you do it?
That's what I said when I said I'd fight him, because
it's like Justin Mooney. He fought Gallon because Gallon was doing well in Australia, but he was a money fight.
Yeah, and he probably knew he was going to win. Like,
if
like I said, if Hooney lost to him,
And the other thing is, some people then, you kind of knew who Hooney was, but unless you actually were boxing,
I was saying.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people knew who Gallon was.
Yeah, definitely.
So for Justin to fight him was great to promote himself, get his name out there further, and
like you saying, like, you're not a huge rugby fan, but like you like State of Origin, you're saying, right?
Oh, State of Origin.
So like, he's a State of Origin winning captain. Cronulla captain, like, people know him.
Yeah.
So, like you said, he's got a name. Hooney fights him, beats him. Oh, who's this Justice Hooney? Oh, all of a sudden he's the hottest prospect in Australian boxing, like, out of nowhere. No one knew him before. Like, you're spot on.
I just feel like everyone that has like been a sportsman before is trying to get into boxing now.
It's weird, isn't it? Well, what?
Everyone.
Well, what I was going to say is, I'll say this. I don't know if this rings true to you. Like, obviously, I said that to Chris. Adrian's more, he knows more of the little box because he was a fighter, right? Like, the way I see it is, to the general public, boxing lives and dies by the heavyweight division. To the general fan, doesn't it?
100%.
Like, so then, like, when Chris said it was floundering a bit, when the heavyweight division wasn't that good, it seems like boxing is shit, but then, like, people forgetting, like you said, there's
everyone's talking about
Canelo,
Fury, you know what I mean?
but now then Fury comes out of nowhere and it's like, oh, heavyweight's big, but like back, like you're saying, like, even Floyd Mayweather, right? Money Mayweather is this. He's never going to be as popular as like Mike Tyson.
No,
because he's not in the heavyweight division. Like for the general public, it does live and die by the heavyweight, doesn't it?
Because people can expect a knockout.
Yeah,
you can expect a knockout, and that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like, and once again, we're talking about, you're saying that there's all these, athletes or celebrities,
basketballers,
boxers,
whatever.
Really. What do you watch them for? You don't watch them to watch boxing skill.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, you watch Canelo to see his boxing. You watch Fury to see him box.
Yeah.
You watch those guys to see what happens. So, like,
To
let's
see
say
one
Jake
of them
Paul.
get knocked out.
One or two people watch Jake Paul for two reasons: see him get knocked out, or see how he goes. Like, will he beat this guy?
Not
how
for
far
his
can
skill.
he take it? How
Not for
far
his
will he
skill.
take it? And look, I'll be honest. I'm kind of curious to see how far Jake Paul can take it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want to see how far he can go with it.
Yeah.
Because no one's really done what he's doing in that sense.
No.
No
one.
But you don't watch him do. You don't pay for him to say, I want to see a good boxing fight.
So we spoke about it on here. Right? Chris has brought up, I don't know if the clip like of Silver and Jake Paul, right? So you've obviously seen it now. And
I've seen that clip. Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Chris were saying, and I remember we spoke about it, and you gave me a killer perspective when you were saying about the people that Silver has fought and been hit by and not gone down.
Yep.
Do you think he took a dive with that hit?
I don't reckon he took a dive.
No.
I don't think he got knocked out either.
Yeah.
So, do you have the video by any chance?
He's got it.
Yeah.
It might be, it's over there, but yeah, like he can
You might
play
be able
it.
to hear it. But
He can play it for the people because on his lappy. It'll come delayed on this one.
the one I've got is when you actually see him hit.
The other view.
So there was another view that we had where there was no connection, and then the other view was when he actually got hit. So, yeah, there was two views. One was different.
if you watch the view,
So tell us what do you think happened?
So if
from a
you watch
fighting
it
point of
from,
view?
it's hard to see it from the fast perspective, but if you watch it slow motion,
Yeah.
there was a particular angle where it shows it better. So
That's the one that Chris got the second one.
Yeah.
Where
I've got it here.
oh, okay,
I'll
yeah.
I'll put it up.
put it up and then.
If you're watching, if you pay attention to his footwork and Cecilia's footwork,
Yeah.
as a boxer, if they start off teaching you the footwork, that's the first thing you learn.
Yeah.
You always have a stance,
Yeah.
right? So split stance. Never let your feet come level with each other. You know,
Okay.
always
Yeah.
split
Like
stance.
parallel. Like
Yeah. So you've always got split stance. You
Yeah.
move backwards with it. You move sideways with it.
Okay.
You never cross your legs. You never have them level with each other. At that point, that's where Anderson Silva made a mistake. His left foot comes back. When he does that, Jake Paul throws his first punch,
Yeah.
which, to be honest, looks more like a push to the
Yeah.
face than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So he's moved back, and as he's done that, he's copped this push.
Yeah.
Throws a bit off balance. His legs are now in a split stance, and you don't go in a level with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't go like that because of balance.
Yeah.
So you can keep your balance, and you can throw from
Yeah.
a split
Because your
stance.
center of gravity will go off.
Correct.
Yeah.
After he's copped that one, he brings his right foot back to throw his punch,
Yeah.
and as he's bringing it back, he's pivoting on his front leg, his left leg,
Yeah.
and that second punch connects just before his right foot lands,
Yeah.
causing him to go off balance. He's not
Right.
knocked out. He's just been pushed off
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
All right.
But because of the way his footwork was at the time,
Yeah.
and if you go look at it again, if you watch his footwork as it's happening, you
Let's have a
can
look.
see that happening.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
And that's why he falls back. And that's why
Because he gets up like that.
not only does he get up like that, but if you get knocked down,
Yeah.
so after that he was going forward.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was going forward and he's copping hits.
You
and he was
sit back
fine.
to get your energy back or
If
breath
you
back.
cop
then, yeah.
and if you're rattled, you're
Go on the
more or less
defensive.
fighting on the back foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're on the back foot, you're still throwing, but you're more cautious. You're trying to be careful. He's not, because he's
Yeah.
not. He's not rattled.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the other thing is, regardless of whether it's rigged or not, you wouldn't do that if you were trying to throw the fight.
No, not like
You
that.
know what
No,
I mean?
no,
You'd be a
no.
bit smarter about it. You pretend to be. He straight away tried
Yeah.
to show that I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm
So
fine.
before we like,
Because we
Touch-
were saying that
Oh.
it was fake in the beginning.
but because we saw
I
that
reckon
other,
we
we
saw
saw
the
that
other
other
angle.
angle.
Yeah, the other angle's tough.
Yeah, yeah.
It is tough. But
Yeah.
we see it from that
So
perspective.
before we touch on any more, but what about the Woodley knockout? Was that? Do you think is it because he took the fight on short notice? Is it,
Yeah,
or do you
potentially.
think he took a dive?
I
'cause, like,
would
he just
say,
lets
'cause
him-
honestly, it's a pretty tough hit.
I know. Like, would you
But-
take a hit like that
But
to
it was a
take a
bit
dive?
huge for Woodley not to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, that's what I was saying that to Chris. You were saying, and I wanted you to say it on here. You were saying that Jake Paul's got a bit of a tell when he goes to
Yep.
throw it. Do you want to
so
explain that?
he does this thing with his arm.
Yeah.
He'll shake his
Ah,
fist
okay.
and then he'll throw.
And a lot of fighters have tells like that. You're
They
saying,
do, yeah. So some will even, let's say if they're going to throw a jab, they might drop it that little bit,
and then
or they will, they'll bouncing around a little bit and they'll
And
go
he-
for it. He bounces it around
uh-huh.
and he starts to shake it.
And
Whether
he did that, didn't he?
He did it.
And then punch Woodley, and Woodley should know that
should have realised.
because I mean he's been champion, UFC champion.
If you're a fighter, like, you don't have to be a boxer. You just have to be a fighter to be
To
able to
know,
realise
yeah.
and see these connections and say, all right, he's doing that. He did it with Ben Askren as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you studied him, you should have realised
Yeah.
that's what he's going to do, and he should have realised that punch
And-
was coming.
See, the thing about Woodley is like I don't know how much you know about him, but
Oh,
like,
he's that MMA guy, isn't he?
yeah, but see, he was what was he, middleweight champion or he was
Welterweight.
welterweight? So he was welterweight champion, but he, in the end, I think he got done because it's like he doesn't take the fights serious enough, doesn't he? He's like very.
He picks and chooses.
Yeah,
fights,
but, like,
and
even
he's
the-
very he fights.
He's
safe.
like reserved, isn't he?
He fights very
Yeah.
safe, and that's why Dana won.
And I mean, and he took the second Jake Paul fight on like a week's notice. 2 weeks or something like so like he didn't train like, and he's very like that anyway.
Yeah.
Like so
And the other thing that's interesting
because in the
about it-
first fight he was getting cracked and just laughing,
and that's
like
the thing
Paul was
with
hitting him and he was going like smiling
yeah.
because he used to be able to take a hit like you saw in the UFC like he could
Yeah.
take.
And the thing is, you can see he didn't utilise well with Jake Paul in that first fight when he should have.
Yeah.
He could have won.
Oh, he should have killed him the
but
first
the
one.
thing is, he fights like that all the time.
He's so reserved.
He's
Yeah,
just reserved. He just fights. He just fights to win on points almost.
Yeah.
Like it's
he was in.
Well,
He
that's
was in the
probably why he won.
TV show, man. He was in Cobra Kai.
yeah.
He was one of the henchmen.
Oh, yeah, he
He was
was.
one of the henchmen
Yeah,
in
he was
the
good.
last season.
Yeah. But that was a disappointing.
Yeah,
Result
yeah.
with it. And to be honest, it is an interesting one where did he throw it or not, because on one point of view you can say it looks pretty rigged.
Yeah.
But then if it's not, you kind of like,
Yeah.
as a fighter, how'd you let that happen?
Yeah.
You know, that's just, you shouldn't have
Yeah,
got that
yeah.
hit.
Do you think like those fighters that fought Jake Paul that have lost, does it tarnish their
No, because they're all retired.
career?
They're retired.
They're retired.
Yeah, they're retired.
But in the end, Anderson Silva 47. What does it matter?
Anderson Silva, yeah, look, he went up against a younger bloke. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. You look at Anderson Silva, you look at his previous
But Anderson Silva was champion in his mid-30s anyway.
But even look at what kind of fighter he was. He was a very smart fighter. He picked his shots.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knew your openings. He's looking
Like the Vitor, like the kick.
Yeah.
It was out of nowhere, wasn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of the knockouts he did, you look at the hits and you think, oh, there didn't look like as much in it. But that's because he knew how to find the right spots.
Timing. Yeah.
His timing was perfect. His technique was perfect. His precision was perfect.
Yeah.
So, but as you get older, those are things that you lose. Is your precision and
Yeah,
your
of course.
reflexes. So he's still got that style, but he's just not.
Because he was sort of like Muhammad Ali, so to speak, have the guard down, let people come at him because he was so quick at getting away. So once you're a bit older and can't do that, like you're going to get.
You know, let's say, you know, he would see that. Let's say you throw a jab, you're the type of person who drops your arm before you throw a jab.
Yeah.
He was a smart fighter to know that he would see that happen and straight away throw.
Yeah.
You know, and get a knockout, whatever happens
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
But he's just not quite fast enough now to then. So he'll throw, but by that point you've seen it coming. You've brought your guard back up. So that's where, unfortunately, with him, I think an age does play a factor in it.
So, like we were saying about them, like in touching it, do you think they're good for boxing? Is Jake Paul good for boxing? Like Tyson Fury has said he is.
I reckon he is.
Mike Tyson even said he is.
Look, you look at the pros and cons. What are the cons? Like, really? I mean,
it's getting publicity, isn't it?
He gets publicity in the sport. More eyes are watching boxing.
Yeah.
There's boxers out there who are trying to make a career out of it. They're great boxers.
Yeah.
They're doing well. It's another show. So they're fighting his undercard. People are like, oh, you know, these people should be, you know, fighting above him.
Yeah.
If I was a boxer who's doing well and I'm trying to get my name out there, I'd fight on his undercard because
100%.
you know what, so many people are now going to watch you and see you fight. It's more of an opportunity for them to be exposed on bigger promotions, other promoters seeing them. The people that don't like what he's doing generally like in my community because he's giving them a bit of a bad rap, really.
Yeah.
And really some of the boxing purists don't like what he's doing, but really, like I said, at the end of the day, you're not watching no one's watching him to watch a good boxing fight. No one's paying money because they want to see.
They just want to see him either get knocked out or,
you know what I mean? They're just curious to see what happens. So from that perspective, it's like, well, he's not tarnishing it because really anyone that's watching him isn't watching it for boxing. From that perspective. So there's no real cons really to what he's doing. You know, he's bringing more money into the sport.
So
it's not like it's not like he's not training for it and he's shit.
Yeah.
Like
you know
he's
well,
decent,
see,
you know?
Don't At Me has said this saying. I don't know if Adrian agrees with this because it's a Conor McGregor saying. Timing beats speed, precision beats power. Conor McGregor.
Speed, precision beats power. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's why he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
You know, he's got speed and he's got precision.
Yeah.
And like, to be honest, look, I'll give you an example of one of my fights where I fought this bloke. He was a shorter bloke.
Yeah.
And he kept throwing this overhand right every time at me. And I'd guard up or I'd slip it. A couple of times it made contact. It didn't faze me. It was fine. He threw it one time and I saw a double straight away. And
Just the way it got you.
Yeah, and there was about a minute left of the round, and I managed to, and I knew straight away. I was like, you know what? Because he saw it, he came in for it, and I thought, fuck it, just go for it. You know, just keep moving, keep working. But in my head, I thought, if he lands one more, I'm knocked out.
I'm done.
Like,
Yeah.
Fortunately, I made it to the end of the round, did all right, and recovered during the break.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, I copped heaps of, I've copped
then
heaps of hard hits.
gets you.
I sparred bigger guys. I fought bigger guys than him.
Yeah.
And that one shot, I've only been railed like that twice ever.
Yeah.
And I watched the fight afterwards. He got me right on the jaw,
Yeah.
right on the sweet
Just
spot.
precision.
Yeah, there was
sweet,
no
yeah.
power behind it. There was nothing. He just got it right on the sweet spot. If you can get that sweet spot,
Oh yeah.
and it comes at a time as well because I'm gonna have my guard up. If you can find that opening, and you can get in that opening at that right time, you've got it. I mean, that's what.
So,
100% I agree with that.
Wow.
Completely off topic. This for your boy, man. Amanda says, I have a request, guys. Can you all say hi, Nathan?
Hi, Nathan.
Hi, Nathan.
Hi, Nathan.
My son.
That's Chris. That's Texas Chainsaw Nathan, man. Little Nathan running around.
Gosh.
So,
So can I ask you one question? Have you ever knocked someone out, or have you ever been knocked out?
I've never been knocked out. Fortunately, I have knocked someone out.
Yeah.
That was actually for the state title.
yeah,
So,
cool.
this guy, I've seen him fight before, and
Yeah.
I knew I knew my hands were pretty good for a kickboxer,
Yeah.
and I saw him fight, and he had a bit more of a traditional style to him. And
Yeah.
I seen him fight. I was like, you know, I know that I could probably, you know,
Get
I
him.
could get him with
Yeah.
hands. Anyway, I got asked to fight him on a promotion
Yeah.
for the title. And I was like, all right. So I took it on 2 weeks' notice, actually.
Yeah.
But
You've been training.
I've been training
Yeah.
to be ready. And
Yeah.
I took on 2 weeks' notice. And my trainer said, he goes, look, you've got a strong, powerful right cross. Let's
Yeah.
train it up. So, and this is where, you know, to talk about that precision and time and all that, I trained up that cross. So not that I neglect everything else, but on the bag, I picked a spot on the bag, and each time hit that same spot
Yeah.
and worked power. During sparring, trying to find opportunities where I can find that opening. So you're reading people and find the opening to throw it, not just throw it out of nowhere. And we came up with the game plan of, you know, if you just throw it from the word go and they guard up, they
They're
feel your
gonna know,
power,
yeah.
they're mindful of it. So my trainer said,
Yeah.
don't throw it from the word go, find the opening and then execute, because as soon
Right.
as he feels it, he's now ready for it. He's looking for it. So
Yeah.
you've lost a perfect window.
Right.
And in that first round, I was, you know, he once again, strong open starts. He was a taller bloke. And he kept throwing kicks, and I'd block him. But because he's a tall bloke, every time he threw a kick, I'd try and come in close, but I just couldn't close that distance.
Yeah.
So but he kept coming in forward. So what I did was I tried to, with my footwork, I did a half step instead of a full step. So that way it closed that distance when he tried to go for a kick. It was closing that distance without him realizing.
Yeah.
Then I found him, he dropped his arms to throw a kick. As soon as he did that, I stepped in
Just
with a
open.
cross,
Yeah.
got right on the jaw, and dropped him.
And just go.
And
Wow.
and
Yeah.
that was that one shot, and that was it. But once again, it comes down to training it up. You know,
Yeah.
get that precision. And look, some people throw haymakers, and look, let's be honest, a lot of Jake Paul, you know,
Yeah.
he threw
When-
a haymaker, he got lucky with it in a sense.
Like Muay Thai fights that you're doing, they 12 ounce the gloves.
So depends on where. Victoria was 10 ounce.
Yeah. Okay.
Victoria's 8 ounce. Here was 10 ounce.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
And like heavyweight is like 16, isn't it?
I think heavyweight they go with. I think it might be 12,
12,
12 or
yeah,
14.
yeah.
Yeah, depending on your.
Yeah.
Depends on the organisation.
Yeah.
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 But it's hard to get knocked out. It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
a lot harder than you would consider.
Yeah.
But it is you find the button. You got to find
Yeah.
the button.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Did you have you taped all these and show your kids in the future?
I reckon I've got all my fights on video except.
But when you say
That's
to
what I reckon.
when you say to your
That's
son, "I've got these tapes on video," he's gonna say, "What's a video?"
Yeah, he wouldn't know. So yeah,
true.
yeah, probably wouldn't be able to play by
He's
that
gonna
point.
say, "Video? What's that? What's that, man?" He's gonna say, "Did you just make that up?" Well, so
that's cool.
So like Adrian's saying, they're good for fighting. We said that though, didn't we?
We did, and like, there's another guy called Andrew Tate. He's a kickboxer,
Yep.
like a world, and he wants to go. Well, him and Jake Paul.
Well, so we.
So they're because they're both like they're not. Well, he's a
No, but like we touched on it before. Like we asked you, but you said you don't know much about his fighting and that. But we said, so what the titles that he's won? You said they're pretty.
Oh look, yeah, look, he's obviously achieved quite a bit in
Yeah.
kickboxing. You know,
Yeah.
he's obviously done quite well. I've never watched his kickboxing fights to be
Yeah,
honest.
but to have
So-
those titles, he's got to have a fight.
He's got to have an IQ. He's
Yeah.
got to have some knowledge.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a game plan.
Yeah.
He's going to have a strategy. He knows how to train for a fight.
Yeah,
The thing that would be interesting.
I mean,
is,
he's only 34 too.
he's
not-
young as well.
Yeah.
The thing would be, you know, what's his hands like? Would be an
Yeah.
interesting thing.
Yeah.
You know, is he predominantly just, you know, just kicking?
Yeah,
but,
was he? Yeah,
you know, but to be honest, yeah, look, he's had a lot of fights.
Yeah.
You know, he understands the pressure. He understands how to prepare. He understands how to move
Yeah.
around the ring.
Well, what did we say? We said he's had 85 professional fights, so we
he's
don't know
had a lot
how
of
many.
fights. And
Sure.
a lot of those in Europe.
Yeah,
He's fighting European,
Yeah,
you know, or you know, British. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's fighting good fighters.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we're not talking about just our own guys.
Yeah.
Most of those are good fighters.
Yeah.
So you know, he's got a pretty good credential. I mean, the French, the Dutch, the British, they're top notch
yeah.
fighters.
And the thing is, they're saying he's probably got more money than Jake Paul anyway. So
Oh,
he's
I
got
don't
it.
know.
Well, they're just saying he's.
Well, but
So he's got it.
he's not fighting for money. He's
Yeah,
fighting.
I'm not going to go
for-
take
for
a
But
the-
dive, am I? So
yeah, but this match, right, is going to be huge money.
of
Because
course it is.
Both of them are so
They're so
popular.
talked about at the
Yeah,
moment.
two big
You know,
names.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other boxing match in the last 15 years will be as big as it, like money wise.
Like the heavyweight.
Do you
boxing.
think?
I think there are other fights that would probably be bigger.
Like Fury Wilder 3, man, was huge.
I think
bro, like,
talk may be different in the sense that, like, if you're like, for example, to be honest, would I pay for that fight? Probably not. But I'll look after. I'll be want to know what's going on. I would pay for certain, like if you told me, there has to be certain fights. You know, like for example, Triple G and Canelo, two top fighters in their division. They've fought 3 times now, but their first fight was, a lot of people didn't know about it who went into boxing. But if you were into boxing, you cancelled all your plans. You watched that fight. You were making time to watch it.
The example I'll give you was Jake Paul versus, I don't know if it was Silver or the fight before. One of them didn't even sell out the pay-per-view. Like they were saying it did, but it didn't sell out the stadium. Whereas Fury Chisora is Wembley Stadium, 100,000 people. It's already sold out.
100%. Look, if Jake Paul fought here, I wouldn't be going to watch it. No. If Fury was, 100%, I'd be going to go.
So you know what I mean? Then I'll put that into perspective.
But you put all the Disney kids that love Jake Paul and all the TikTok guys that love.
Oh, look, the talk would be there. 100%, the talk would be massive.
But that's what I'm saying. How come their event doesn't sell out then? And then
no, I'm saying it probably will though. This will.
Oh, maybe it will. Yeah, like
because of Tate. Tate is just like massive.
Yeah,
I hope it's like a double knockout.
But everyone's gonna want to see what happens because
of course they are
because no one remembers Tate fighting. Well, they've got
like Adrian said, people want to see Jake Paul get knocked out and. Like there's all these things.
Does it tarnish Tate? Does it?
I think it does because he's got this whole thing now. I'm a top G. I'm like I'm this guy, this man.
Yeah.
If he goes and loses to a YouTuber when he was a world champion, you're not a top G anymore, are you? Well, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Have you seen like Tate like on the TikTok and that how he's taken over? Have you seen all that?
I kind of heard about all the controversy behind him, and what's going on there. So I didn't really know much about what he's doing from an influencer perspective until that point. But it sounds like he's a bit of a hot topic at the moment.
Yeah, well,
we did a podcast on him, and there's a lot of different opinions on him.
Yeah, so. I can't comment. I haven't listened to enough of what he says to know.
I didn't know much about him. I'm the same.
But and once again, I think a lot of stuff because. With a lot of them, you've got to listen to the whole perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things get cut, and once again, he could be a complete arsehole. I have no idea. I don't know. But I do hear people saying, he said this, which is, good. And, so right, but he said this, which is bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, the thing is, it's always interesting to know the full story. Full story of what's going on behind, what actually is the story behind.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because, like, we do short videos. And a short video of like our podcast.
Like someone could cut,
and like we cut it like the best bits, right? And then put it on, and then people will just go crazy because they haven't heard the whole story.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the same with Tate. Like,
and the thing is, he's got millions of people watching him, not like us. Like
so they judge him on like 30-second clip.
Yeah.
Look at the whole video and actually see what he's saying. So I'm not saying everything he says is like good, but like there's some good stuff.
Well. It can lead us into our next topic. This is one of the reasons that I was pumped for Adrian to come here. So we, he said it's good for boxing and that. So the next one we'll touch into is Volkanovski.
I'm looking forward to this one.
I'm excited about that fight.
So am I.
Obviously Volkanovski is featherweight champion, isn't he? And Islam is
pound for pound.
Is middleweight or lightweight, sorry.
Yeah.
And Volkanovski is considered pound for pound.
Yeah.
At the moment, the best fighter, and they're going to have he's fighting for the lightweight belt, isn't he?
Yeah, look, it's bragging rights, this fight. They're fighting for 2 titles, pound for pound in lightweight.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm not a fan of Islam in the sense that I feel like, actually, you know what? He beat Charles.
Yeah.
Charles has been nominating everyone lightweight.
Oh, yeah.
Credit to him.
Yeah.
He beat him fair and square.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. He did well. So, credit to him. He's actually done well. And you know what? Deserves to be champion.
Yeah.
But prior to that, there was always talk about, a lot of what he said. Like, there's talk about, he deserves it beforehand. He deserves it. Clearly, obviously, I'm wrong in the sense that he did. But prior to that, I was like, well, you know what? To be honest, there's a lot of guys that probably deserve it over him.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, he only fought one guy in the top 10 ranking. That was Dan Hooker at the time.
Oh, really?
Was
the
top
Dan
10.
Hooker.
Yeah, I think it was number 7 at the time. They fought. Dan Hooker took that at 2 weeks' notice as well, that fight. he outside of that, no one really within the top 10. And then he didn't want to fight Dos Anjos. Now, once again, I'm hearing what I read in the media. There's
well,
probably
that's what
more
we
behind
don't.
the scenes.
Of course.
But Dos Anjos wanted to fight him, and he could have fought Dos Anjos on 2 weeks, like a few weeks notice.
What happened to him?
Yeah. And he was going around saying, "Oh, none of them want to fight me. None of them want to fight me." You got an opportunity. You didn't choose to take it, which I think you can't go around saying, "Oh, no one wants to fight you," and this and that. And you also fought him, and there's another fighter who fought on 2 weeks' notice. These guys took it on 2 weeks' notice. Gave you a fight.
Whereas,
you know what?
Alex, I don't think he says no to any fight.
Nah,
he's
he'll fight anyway.
No, he's not.
But you know what?
He was waiting in reserve to fight Islam if Oliveira didn't make weight.
If you want to be champion, or if you are champion, you should always be ready.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You get a chance to say, you know what, like Whitaker says, he goes, you know what, Christmas break, I'm not fighting. Don't ask me to fight. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You get that.
Yeah.
And you have that right to have a break. But to claim, especially during the year where there's no reason not to claim, like I'm not, and especially when you're talking about I want to fight, and then the fight gets offered to you, like, oh no, I'm not ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Like, this is your career, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? We're not talking about, you're not an amateur that's doing this for free.
Yeah.
This is your career.
Yeah.
You should stay ready, stay hungry. If you're in that top level division, if you're in the top 10, you should be ready to jump in at any moment, if that's what you want.
Yeah. See, I'm a wrestling fan, so
I'm a bit upset at you, man. Like,
no.
bro. He's Greek.
let me just like clarify everything. Right? I like Volkanovski, I hope he wins because he's Aussie and that. But like, I've seen the way Islam fights, especially that last fight, and I think Volkanovski is good, like stand up, But if he hits the ground, this guy's a killer wrestler.
Yeah, but like,
I don't think Volkanovski can win on the ground.
But I said this.
But if he gets the strikes in,
I said this point to you in the UFC at the moment. How many of the champions are wrestlers? Just Islam, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ngannou's a striker.
Most of them strikers.
Pereira's a striker now. He beat Israel. Not always. It chops and... But at the moment, Volkanovski's a striker.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, they're all strikers at the moment. Like, it's where, And and I'll say this about him as well. He was a rugby player. What is a rugby player's main defense? I'm trying to stop people from taking me to the ground.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting fight.
He's not going to be...
It'll be a very interesting fight.
Like, he's not going to be bad, and he's got a low center of gravity. Like, and I was saying this to Adrian. I said it to you. Like, and Adrian was agreeing with me. Like, he's got that background, mate, of that natural toughness, mate. That he's a tradie, and I know that like from personal experience. And I was saying to Adrian, I've got another mate of mine, Adrian, that's a bricklayer. That's like the guy's like a brick wall. He's never done a weight in his life. Yeah, and like I know it from like being a tradie. Like you have, there's these strengths you have that people don't get. You don't get it from the gym, and I'll tell you that like that strength, whatever it is. And it's not like tooting my own. I'm just saying it from. You don't get that strength from a gym. It's like a different, and you were saying it about like your dad, like there's these strengths like that you don't get from going and pumping weights.
No.
And Volkanovski has that as well on his side. Like
he's just got speed. Look, he's got no quit. He's got no quit in him, and it'll be an interesting fight. The biggest thing will be if he can, if his game plan, if he was prepping, it'd be to try and avoid getting taken down. Yeah, would be the biggest thing. Keep it standing up, but being able to get back up if it was to the ground. And that's why he fights generally. From what I've seen, generally fights. He's been taking the ground, but he's good at getting out of it.
See,
okay, yeah.
I remember watching GSP, right? And GSP could. I don't think there was anyone that he couldn't get to the ground.
Yeah.
But is Islam like that? Can he get anyone like GSP? There was no one he couldn't get. If there was a fight. I remember when he was champion, like for 5 rounds, I can't remember who he fought. He just took him to the ground and he won the fight because it was a boring fight. Yeah. But he knew that he had to do that. Whereas can Islam do that as good as GSP did? Nah, I don't think so. Yeah, that's just me.
I don't think he's look, if he wins this fight,
you know what? Credit to him. Power to him.
There's still a lot of doubters, and to be honest, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
For him. If he wins this fight, all right, you know what?
So the thing is, he's not cutting weight or anything.
Well,
Volk's putting on weight.
Correct. So, well, apparently, I was listening to a news report that Islam is like out of all the fighters in the UFC, he's been hit the less, like less times.
Yeah,
because he takes people to the ground.
Or in the UFC?
I'm not sure if it's in his.
Probably because he takes people to the ground.
I think like in his UFC fights. And of all his UFC fights, he's the one that's got hit the less.
I would have thought Khamzat would have been pretty. I mean, all right, Gilbert Burns was a pretty, was a lot thrown punches thrown, but generally speaking, his first few fights barely copped. I think
Yeah.
he copped like one significant strike in the first like 3 or 4 fights of his career.
Don't
I
at
don't know if
me.
it's a career. I just think it's like
Yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah, look.
Don't at me says he's with you on this one, man. So he's saying Islam.
Islam.
And then
Hey, look, I want Volkanovski to win. Like, don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
and look, I don't doubt that
do.
Islam's. He's got a chance. I'm not throwing. Volk needs to prepare properly.
I'm just scared that it's gonna go, because he's got weight on him. I know they're gonna go in the same weight, but like, I just think if he gets him on the ground, I'll be scared for Volkanovski.
Don't at me also touched on what you said about the shorts, man. He said people lose their minds. Poor KP.
Yeah.
They do, but yeah, like so. Listen,
You'll
going.
be probably on a short, man.
Yeah, it's alright.
What's that?
You
Like,
think you might be on a short like
Oh,
on
that's
YouTube?
alright.
He's
Well,
on here
like a
anyway.
clip,
He's already here now, so. You're a betting. Let's say you're a betting man. Where are you putting your money, Volk or Islam?
Volk.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, put money on Volk.
I think Islam's favourite though.
His favourite.
Probably because it's that high.
And that's
weight
more of a reason I
division.
put money on
I remember I
Volk.
said that to you. I was like,
Good payday.
yeah.
Nah, I think I'll put my money on
So-
Volk. I think he's getting. You know what though? Even though he's pound for pound,
Yeah.
he's done so. He's fought the best featherweights. He seems to always be treated like an underdog,
I agree.
and I don't
Is
understand.
it because he's Australian in the American world? Maybe like Whitaker was the
Partly
same.
that,
Like,
yeah, he's got whether maybe
I mean, and
laid back,
Whitaker's amazing too. Like,
and whether
he's-
maybe it's their laid back attitude.
Yeah,
that
the
people think they don't take
Australian-
it seriously.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, but I mean, they do just get Volk. Just seems everyone just seems to think that he's not worthy.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
No,
So,
I'm excited.
what did you think of? I know we talked about it. What did you think of the so-called greatest clapping at Volkanovski, Conor McGregor? Tweeting and deleting.
He's lost his mind.
He's
Isn't
lost the plot, and you can hear in the way he talks. His last few
Volkanovski would kill him, wouldn't he?
100%.
And I even think in his prime, Volkanovski would kill him.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
You agree?
To be honest, I think Chad Mendes, if he had time to prepare to fight Conor McGregor, would have beat him.
Yeah.
They fought.
Listen, I
Chad
don't
Mendes
take
took down
anything.
last minute notice.
I don't take anything away from him. Like he was a double champion. And
He was a good fighter.
I don't take anything.
And he
from
had a
him.
lot of power for his side.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. But Volkanovski, I believe Volkanovski, if he fought McGregor back in his prime.
Yeah, I think it'd beat him too.
Yeah.
And I was saying this to Chris. I think not that he's lost his mind. I just think he's like we're saying about Ronaldo's now doing this interview and that.
Yeah.
He can't accept that he's not the guy anymore, McGregor.
Yeah.
And I just think he's trying to stay relevant
Yeah, I think honestly,
because he's not
I think
relevant.
He's one that's
He is
copped too
not
many
relevant.
too.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you watch his earlier fights,
Yeah, he's copping a lot.
so smart, so witty with when he talked.
Yeah.
His last few fights,
It was
you'd
bad,
hear
wasn't it?
He was all over the place, didn't make any sense, and he copped a lot of hits, especially that was a dumb fight, that Mayweather fight.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Not worth the payday.
No way.
Well,
probably-
it's
to him-
Probably on drugs or something.
He would be.
look,
He'd be off his head.
He'd be living it up too.
But like, I truly believe he's just trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And 100%. Yeah. Now he's just trying to stay relevant.
Because Volkanovski said to him, he tweeted back to him, he goes, "Come, man."
yeah.
He goes, "Let's do it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
And then he didn't say nothing because he knows he'll get clapped. Like
he wouldn't win. He wouldn't win
Nah.
against Volk.
he couldn't. He could not the way he's in. Like
To be honest, a lot of the top let's look at featherweights and top lightweights. I'll say definitely top 5 in each division. I don't think he'd be able to beat
nah.
him.
Well, look at him. You look back when he first fought Poirier, he killed him. And then when he come back and fought him, it was a completely
I
different.
like Poirier.
But it was a completely different,
fighter.
guy.
Yeah.
When he lost to him the next 2 times, it didn't even look like McGregor.
No.
It just looked like a shadow of himself. Like you said, the hits, whatever. But the first time he fought him, came out confident and destroyed him. The next times he fought him, you're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
It's because like those guys know how to lose. Like that Poirier guy, like he took the loss and like improved. This guy took a win and he got worse.
I just think the thing about
You know what I mean? Like he got too big for his. I don't know. his
the
ego.
thing about him was he's obviously tried to do like Muhammad Ali, get into people's heads. Then the minute he couldn't, like Adrian was saying, get into people's heads, that was 50% of his game gone.
And he started to get, and his, motion started right.
Yeah,
Into his
like getting
ego
angry.
grew in that time.
Yeah.
And
Of
people
course.
weren't getting phased by him, and they were talking back, and they were being more witty,
Yeah, of
and he
course.
hated it. He just
Yeah.
hated it.
Whereas you see, like I was saying, like GSP, for example, even Khabib. Like I never was the biggest fan of Khabib. It just,
Yeah,
hey, it's a good fighter. I just, whatever.
was entertaining.
Yeah, that wasn't entertaining. But like you look at GSP, people used to say some outlandish shit to him in the interview, and he'd just sit there and go, "Yeah, all right, I'm gonna beat you."
Yeah,
He would just
exactly.
clap back and he'd go, "Yeah, I'm still gonna win."
It was all for show, man.
But
Look at Whitaker. He's the same.
Whitaker, yeah,
Doesn't talk shit about anyone. He just, he laughs it off and then goes in there and just.
And really, he should have been champion because I think he beat Izzy in the
He
last.
beat him.
Yeah.
I reckon he won that.
But like you said,
it
the
was very
champion
close.
gets given
It
the
was
points,
very
don't
close.
they?
And being the champion, it's a bit lopsided towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing with Whitaker is, he put it best. He said he makes fighters hate fighting.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? 100%. His style, you have to come very prepared
Of
against
course.
Whitaker.
See, I know it's hard to compare like boxing, kickboxing, whatever, but they got to be two of the best fighters Australia's ever had
Yeah.
at the same time. Whitaker and Volkanovski, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you go back, we've had whatever, we've had Danny Greens, even Mundine, whatever, like
Sue and all that.
Jeff Fennick, like people that were fighters, like, but they've got to be two of the best we've ever had, don't they?
Yeah.
Like,
What they've
Whitaker's
done.
amazing too. I mean, he was champion as well, like,
Yeah, what they've done is huge. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, look, even Whitaker, all right, he's not, he hasn't beat Izzy, but
I think he'll
he
be champion
smashed
again, though.
everyone else. And you know what? He's one where he's lost 2 against Izzy. He's one of the very few fights where he's lost both, but still deserves that trilogy fight.
Yeah.
Same with like Holloway
Yeah.
and Volkanovski.
See, and I was watching a thing with Volkanovski. He was saying about Holloway, and I remember I was saying it to you. Like, he had an interview, and the second fight was very even.
Yeah.
And then he said nothing, but Volk won. Then the third fight, he decimated Holloway, and then he come out and said, he goes, at 3 a.m. in the morning before the second fight, he goes, I got drug tested by USADA.
Yeah.
He goes, but I didn't come out and say anything. He goes, because I didn't want anyone to think it was an excuse. He goes, so I'm telling you now, after I've kicked his ass with a full night's rest.
Yeah.
So, like, he had an interrupted, and he still fucking beat him
And
the
that's,
second time.
that's bullshit. They do that too.
Yeah, why? Like, they just do it, don't they? They're like,
They don't give a shit.
yeah.
Well, talking about Izzy, we got a clip of
We got the clip. I told you to get it because
Yeah. Well,
I said
it was like the last fight he
Yeah.
had. So it was
Pereira.
UFC 281,
yeah.
and we've got the footage of him getting knocked out.
So let's put it in.
Pereira's had his most success to the body tonight. All of a sudden he's on one more. Two more. Down goes the champion.
You reckon that he
Pereira trying to climb.
He reckons he wasn't out. What he was done.
The undisputed middleweight champion.
Way too many hits he should have got. Even there, he's still kind of droopy. He's
I think the fur coat's getting to him, man.
he's,
Come out in a fur coat.
I
like
saw
that,
that
like,
after.
I
Yeah,
didn't get
yeah.
knocked out, mate. You were gone.
and he's talking about bringing back in what's his name, the other ref. Look, if the ref comes out of the ring, let's say there's no ref there,
Yeah.
you were done. You were done. You were not going to recover from that. You were not going to bounce back from it. You weren't even swinging back. Some people, they start to feel it and they just swing.
To get
He wasn't even doing that. He
And-
could not.
To people that don't know, that guy's beaten him twice in kickboxing, doesn't he?
It's history.
So he's beaten him 3 times now, hasn't he?
First fight was controversial decision.
It was like points.
It was
yeah.
split points, which look, split points. So where
Well, they say never let a fight go to the judges, don't they?
And
Yeah.
split points, if you win or lose by splits, treat it like a draw.
Yeah.
Because all you need is one of those judges to be someone different. It
Yeah.
could have gone the other way.
Yeah.
So split point loss is a tough one. Split decision loss.
Yeah.
The second fight,
He knocked him
Izzy
out,
was
didn't he?
being more technical, and Izzy was up on the scorecards, and then he landed a good, I believe it was a hook, and knocked Izzy out.
Yeah.
That fight, he went similar bout where Izzy was doing really well, and he was a bit up on the scorecards, but Pereira is a smart fighter.
Yeah.
He's reading him, he's figuring out, like what we said before, it's a matter of finding your openings.
Yeah.
Being precise, finding the openings, figuring out your opponent. Pereira's figuring him out. They're both let's call them stoppages instead of knockouts. Both stoppages
TKOs, aren't they?
they were not luck.
Yeah, no
He
way.
timed it, he planned it, and to be honest, to be fair to Izzy, his first, I listened to a podcast that he did after he lost to Pereira, straight after.
Yeah.
The first time with the that's the knockout.
Yeah, the kickboxing
And
one,
and he said, he goes, I'm not going to claim it was a lucky hit because it wasn't. Like
Yeah.
you train that stuff. It wasn't a lucky hit.
Yeah.
He got me fair square. He trained it. He did it. So he fed easy on that one. This one here, I felt like he started making up a bit of excuses with, I got copped a calf kick and my perineal nerve and this and that. and that's why my legs were
Well,
wobbly.
what was the other guy that Pereira knocked out? And I remember he was talking shit to Izzy. What's his name?
Sean Strickland.
Strickland. But I remember in that interview, Izzy turned around to him and goes, "Watch out with Pereira, or you'll get clapped." And he goes, "Oh yeah, you telling me what to do, paying him out." That he not, and he fucked up Strickland.
Yeah, he did.
Like no, he did. It was like worse than that. Like
he was out bad.
like destroyed him, bro. Like this guy, you know, like so.
He's fought glory, like
Yeah.
his top
Yeah.
boxing
Yeah.
division, and he fought on there. He fought some of the biggest guys, and he was the champion of glory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's not a knockaround
Well,
guy.
see, that brings me to the point, like, and I think like Jake Paul says it a bit to like pay them out. And I don't know, like, do you think this? Maybe the UFC fighters, they're not the best in the world, because it might be Ultimate Fighting, but doesn't mean they're better than a bloke like you said that's in glory. That's
Well, it's different
because it's different competition.
It's
Isn't
different
it?
competition. You look at things differently. So, like for example, striking.
Yeah,
Hands are up.
yeah,
You're watching out for those strikes. In MMA, you've got to have your hands lower
Yeah.
because someone they
Thinking
can throw a
about
strike,
all
things,
but
yeah.
they
But
could
you
be
gotta-
trying to get takedown.
yeah.
You got to be
Yeah,
ready
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
So you got your hands lower. So you think about so much more. So if you
Yeah.
come from an MMA background, you're gonna have a different guard.
yeah,
You're gonna have a different stance.
Yeah.
So it's all gonna be quite different in that
Yeah.
sense. So it's a tricky one. Like it's almost like you can't really compare it. You know,
No.
like different fighting styles, different techniques behind it. It's a hard comparison to make, really. To be
Yeah, yeah,
honest,
yeah.
though, like once again, if you brought a boxer into the MMA world, I mean, well, they did James Toney against Couture. You know, he
Yeah.
got smashed.
yeah.
You take the MMA fight, put in the boxing world,
They're gonna get
McGregor,
smashed.
Mayweather,
You
they
got
get smashed.
Yeah,
You know, kickbox, all of it. You put one to someone else's world, different
Yeah.
story. However, if the thing with MMA though is it was built on, it started off with people from certain disciplines,
and like the
coming
Gacy,
into
boys.
yeah,
and, that,
and then from there, learning about the other one. So
Yeah.
like you've got so Chuck Liddell, you know, striking background,
And he
did some
just used to
boxing,
run
did some
in and-
kickboxing, and then he learned. Oh, and he had a wrestling background.
Yeah,
sorry.
he
No,
did,
sorry,
yeah.
he was predominantly wrestling.
Yeah.
Did some kickboxing, formed together, did the UFC.
and he had good power. That's why
he
he
had power
was.
behind him. A lot of guys, and that's the thing. If you look at a lot of the champions in it, a lot of them come from a background
Yeah,
of some sort,
Yeah, of
and then
course.
they did a fair bit of the other thing,
yeah,
and brought together, and that's why they're really good, and they hit the top level.
yeah,
You look at Mark Hunt. I mean, he was a kickboxer, and he did well in the UFC.
yeah,
He didn't quite make the champion,
yeah.
but his downfall was one. He admitted that he didn't prepare
Yeah.
very well.
I
For
mean, he
his
knocked
fight.
out what's his name
Yeah,
Sonny couple weeks ago, didn't he?
I don't know. He fought a couple weeks ago. to be
What's his
honest.
name? Wasn't it meant to be his last fight, Mark Hunt, against against the rugby player,
Oh, the rugby
Sonny
player.
Bill Williams?
Did he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I wasn't aware of that fight.
yeah, and he
right.
knocked out Sonny Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
like
Oh, no,
Yeah, I remember that.
fourth round. Yeah,
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 right.
yeah, yeah.
Well, he's got power, and he
Yeah.
and you know
And I mean, he's
he
what,
could've-
he's
he could've
48,
knocked out
isn't he?
Gallant too. If
Yeah.
he didn't muck around, he
Yeah.
would have knocked out
yeah,
Gallant.
yeah.
But the thing is, he never had ground game. He trained to
'Cause
know
he
how to
couldn't.
get away from being in the ground,
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah.
So, which is fine.
he probably didn't have the knees for it. Like it's hard,
Look,
yeah.
he probably was just not interested in it,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And then he was that kind of fighter. And like, you even look at his earlier career in kickboxing, he lost a lot of fights.
Yeah.
But he used to sit there, and I read his autobiography, so this is based on what he
Yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah.
his words. You know, he would sit there, have some drinks, and then he'd just jump.
Oh,
in
you
the
can
ring.
tell he doesn't.
Do you know what I
take
mean? Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
really prepare. He's like, fuck it, I'll just jump in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he had he was a good fighter, but
Yeah.
he just didn't prepare. And when he did, there's a few moments where he thought, you know what, and he did killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
when he
So,
took it seriously.
Yeah.
Well, that was a bit like what's his name when he beat Joshua Ruiz.
Yeah.
The rematch, he said straight out. I mean, he was cute. You could tell he wasn't.
He
He goes, man. He goes, I was partying, drinking,
and that was just
whatever,
stupid of him.
doing lines like before I did a rematch. Like,
To be champion, you should.
yeah, I know, man. Let's let it get to their head, don't they? I guess.
And that's where you know what he doesn't deserve. in
Yeah,
my
I
opinion,
agree.
To be champion,
Yeah, yeah.
that's the way you treat it.
Yeah.
You know,
So is the most money to be made? Is it in the UFC now?
I don't think so.
I think boxing still.
Boxing, man.
Boxing.
So, yeah.
Unless you're like McGregor, Izzy,
And to be
Volkanovski now,
honest-
probably not getting the big.
Yeah, to be honest, UFC too. Like, there's always that talk at the moment about the money.
Yeah, and that's
You
why
know,
Jake Paul keeps drilling.
It's an interesting one though, because my take on it is this: as a UFC fighter, so there's talk about the fact like Bellator, for example, they pay their fighters a lot more.
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
what
okay.
UFC does.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like that's MMA as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the
So
one
they
that?
and one championship as well. They pay their fighters more. But the thing is, UFC. Name me a one championship or Bellator fighter that you know who did not come from the UFC.
Don't know.
You don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and
What
I don't know. You know, most
What Bellator didn't? That's where Overeem came from, didn't he?
Overeem came from Pride.
Pride, that's
So
right. And what about
Pride-
Randy Rampage? Was he from Pride?
Yeah, they're all
Not-
from Pride.
not- yeah, that's right,
Because
Pride.
Pride ended.
Yeah, that's right. Pride.
But that's the thing is that UFC puts a lot of money and injects into building up your name, your
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
Now, when you finish up in the UFC or whenever, you've got a brand now.
Yeah.
How you use that as a fighter is look at McGregor. He's used his brand
Yeah.
well. He's made fast track
Yeah.
program. His whiskey, which he sold and is now making another alcohol. He's used his brand and he's done well with it. You look at and you look at all these fighters.
It's like Cormier. Cormier commentates now, doesn't he? So he's
100%,
he's got a paycheck.
exactly.
Probably getting paid more to commentate than he
He's
did fighting.
got a podcast that's doing well.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Joe Rogan even. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The thing is that these fighters go over to Bellator and they get more money because they don't need to be promoted by these promoters
yeah.
because UFC's already done it and given them a name.
Oh,
so
right.
they're saying, like look at Nagano. He's
Yeah.
at the moment saying, I want more money.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think, look, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it because I don't know what they get paid and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, no one knew who you were until you entered the UFC.
Yeah.
If you went straight to Bellator, no one will know who
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah.
You've come to UFC, they've given you a name,
So you get that.
they've
yeah.
given you a brand. Now it's your choice how you go about with your brand that you create, that
Yeah.
they've created for you.
Yeah.
You put the hard work in. No credit lost.
Yeah.
They did the hard work. He got the
Yeah.
wins. He's done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they've promoted him. They've put the money into it. So really, it's a case of, all right, fine. If you think you deserve more money, go promote yourself instead. Don't, they'll take that, let them take that money away from promoting you, give you that
Yeah.
instead,
Yeah.
and see how many people watch
It'd
your
be
fight.
less. Yeah, yeah.
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, think about the shows, the UFC. Think about the UFC fight nights and those ones. They don't get promoted much.
No.
Some good names fight on those, and you go, "Oh shit, that's on." I didn't
Yeah.
realize that dude was fighting. You know what I mean? It's because they didn't promote it
Yeah.
much. You know what I mean? So I think when it comes to the pays, I'm not saying that they are not getting, like, I don't know how much they get paid. I don't know if it's not fair or
Yeah,
not.
whatever, yeah.
But in regards to UFC not paying as much as like Bellator, well,
You're getting a
you
way
know
bigger
what?
platform.
You get if you ask me which one do you want to fight on, I would pick UFC
because you'll get more known.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I would, and as you know, I would think long term and think, all right, well,
Yeah.
hang on, where do I want to go after my fight career?
Yeah.
Start building that platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even get a team
Yeah.
behind you if you need to. Build that platform with the name that you're going to be creating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I get
right.
what you mean.
No, yeah, UFC definitely has like the more world
The
recognition.
only thing I don't like, and me and Adrian have spoken about this before as well with the UFC now, is I remember back in the day when I was telling Chris, like, I was watching it with the Gacy's, like Frank Shamrock.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
He was one of the best ever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Frank was amazing. He
Yeah,
was.
he's
I remember
tough.
when Tito came on the scene and they were like, "This kid is the best," and Frank Shamrock decimated him, mate. Like, destroyed him. Like it was nothing. Like, but there used to be one title fight per pay per view.
Yeah.
Now it's like they put too much on.
Yeah.
There's like 3 title fights on it. It's like, man, just why?
Yeah,
just
it-
make one. Like,
It waters down the
yeah,
titles,
waters
doesn't
it down because it's like, co-main event. There's no
Oh.
such, they don't do a co-World Cup final. You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
co-main event, it's shit.
The disappointing part is that they make too many interim titles.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the
I
part.
hate
yeah,
the
what
interim.
is that, man?
Like, what's his name that got stripped when he didn't? Was it Oliveira?
Nagano. It was Nagano.
And Garner and Oliveira, one of they both got.
I think Oliveira got stripped because he didn't make weight. So
That's right, make
fair
weight.
enough.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. yeah.
Because that's fair enough. That's across all boards. If
Okay,
you're
yeah,
not in
yeah,
the weight.
But
but-
Ngannou's was stupid.
Well, the thing is, the interim titles, they were designed as they're purely if
Yeah.
you can't fight after. So if you are inactive for 12 months as a champion, you vacate your title.
Yeah, I get that.
However, if you're injured and you can't
That's
fight,
different.
then that's where they go, all right, we'll have an interim
Yeah,
title. So then if you can't, if 12 months, let's say you've been champion for 6 months or whatever, and you've done your ACL, now you're out for 12 months, whatever it's going to be. All right, fine. We're going to bring in an interim title. People fighting for that. And then when you're good, when you're fit and ready,
Yeah.
you come back in and we unite those titles.
Yeah,
Not, you know what, let's just throw it. They start throwing interim titles out of nowhere. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, like you said, watered down the actual
Yeah.
main title.
Well, what happens, right, if an interim title holder loses while they're interim?
it's stupid.
Does they get wiped out because like they're not the real? Like, does
If they
does
lose?
does their total reign count?
Well, if you're fighting for the interim title, the next person gets the interim title. So,
Yeah.
like, if
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like, does that person
They
that
just
loses
become.
it?
They just
Yeah.
become the.
Do they like? Are they a former champion or not?
see, technically,
shit.
former interim champion is what they get referred to
Yeah.
as. And it's
that's
like,
not-
so I think Poirier was a former interim
Yeah,
champion. I don't think
which
he
is
ever was
shit.
actually
No,
champion.
I don't think he is.
And it's like, you know what? Look, it's
Yeah,
better
yeah,
than
yeah.
nothing, but at the same time, in your
Well,
head, you know,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
never really up there.
With the
Yeah.
Ngannou one, right? This is me personally. Like Ngannou's there, and Gain is interim champ. And take nothing away from Gain, he's a good fighter too, man. But like, if this was me, I would never sit there in the press conference with that interim belt while the other guy's holding the real belt. That's embarrassing to me. Oh yeah, I'm interim.
Yeah.
Yeah, well I'm the real champion,
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly.
They're trying to bring.
I wouldn't even. I'll be like, I'm not. I'll tell Dana White, I ain't putting that belt there
Yeah,
because
you feel
yeah,
awkward
call
about
me the interim, but
it. You feel awkward about it.
yeah, like
AEW like wrestling.
But they do- yeah.
They're trying to do it now too, and it
It's
doesn't,
shit.
it doesn't work.
interim shit. Like it's
Like I reckon, if you're out, that's it. You relinquish the title, man. If you can't fight for like 6 months to a year, that's it.
but
mate.
that's
You're
fine.
done.
Yeah, like that's
Like come back and then earn your way back into the title picture. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I reckon.
like didn't Fury retire champion and then he came back and
Yep.
and then won it back off Wilder, didn't he? Yeah, like
Yeah, so he was, because he beat Klitschko.
yeah, that's right.
And then that was his last
Yeah.
fight. And then, came back. I'm just
I
trying
mean,
to think.
I remember him in the press conference when he was meant to rematch Klitschko, and he was there and he had a gut and he was going to Klitschko. He's like, "You training?" He's like, "Look at me."
Yeah, he was just flaunting it.
But he was because he was off his like he was
Yeah,
gut,
yeah.
he was depressed. He
He
was,
was over it.
yeah.
and that's why he goes, "I'm not fighting," because he knew he wasn't up to it. Whereas, like we said before, Mike Tyson went and took a fight when he was in that state of mind and got knocked out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the difference.
Yeah.
You just it's the interim thing's stupid, man. I just don't agree with it at
Not a
all.
fan. Like I said, I think fair enough if someone's out for a little while. And
Yeah, like you got
fair
6
enough.
months, 12 months.
Like
okay.
you're an active. What's they refer to it as? I can't remember the term for it is, but there's a term for those that are currently
Yeah,
active but not fighting
Yeah.
due to medical reasons or health
yeah,
reasons.
okay.
And they should have that set up.
Yeah,
And they used to be, and in all divisions, in all kind of organisations, they used to have it, and it was fun because it was a rare occasion that the interim title got brought out.
yeah, okay.
Whereas the UFC are just throwing it left, right,
Yeah.
and centre. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Are they the only ones that do it, or do
as in like the way they
organisation?
free willingly do it, or just
yeah
interim in general.
interim?
Oh no, all other organisations.
But
generally
they
do it.
just
But
throw
once
it around
again,
like that.
once again, it's like you're 12 months, you can't fight because of any. And to be honest, there's not really that many real medical reasons that you'd be out for 12 months, and if there is, generally it's that you're probably out.
Yeah.
that's it, you're
That's
done.
it, done.
So
Yeah.
it's in that situation, it's kind of like, well, there's no real, there's not. It's a very rare thing to really need to do that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right, champ in the making says, "How's it going, gentlemen?"
Champ in the making. What
He's
a
here.
champ.
He's a champ, isn't he? Well, he may not because he's one in the making. So,
Messi just in Discord, but no.
like doing a low ball watch along while we're talking.
Yeah.
Well, like I mean, it's been interesting getting the perspective of someone that's been in the ring, hasn't it?
It has, man. We've never had a ex-fighter here before, so it's nice to, and your knowledge of fighting is like, really good. So, and like I'm just starting to
You're like just getting into it, yeah.
yeah, like it's funny, like how Facebook listens to your conversations and stuff. Then everything on Facebook becomes fighting.
Yeah.
Because we were
So now I'm
talking
just
about.
watching it
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
Facebook feed because I'm just watching
Well, what
it.
do you
So-
like? What do you like the most? UFC?
I like UFC because like anything, it's kind of anything goes
Yeah.
kind of thing. I mean,
Because you had that background, probably like.
yeah, and
mixed
I
martial
like
arts,
the
so.
I like the wrestling aspect, but it can get boring when they're just on the ground. But
Yeah.
I like to see how they get out of it and what if
Yeah,
they can get a lock in or. And I like some of the characters, like that's what makes fighting, man, is the characters.
oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I'm from a wrestling background, like
Yeah.
pro wrestling. I love characters, so like even though McGregor was a dick, like he was
oh, listen.
entertaining.
At the
He was
start,
entertaining.
at the start, he was fine. I think, like Adrian's saying, like when it was,
It's tactics.
it was derogatory,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like little digs. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
later on with Poirier when he's like,
Yeah.
"Your missus is messaging me." It's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
See,
because, the thing is that doesn't get into my head because I'll be like, "Well, no, she didn't." It's like
exactly.
it's the dumbest thing.
That's
ever.
what Poirier's saying. He goes, I know she didn't. So I
Yeah,
don't-
so like you're not in my head. Like you're just
Yeah.
making me want to knock you out now. Like
Yeah,
it's
you just
Yeah, I saw that. But the Khabib and McGregor thing was just over the top.
I think they got
Was that
personal.
great? That was just
Well,
great.
they got very personal because
that
like
got a little bit too.
Connor was calling
Wasn't it?
that bloke behind the scenes. I forget his name. He was calling him a terrorist. Like
Well, I know that
because something happened with that guy.
Lobov.
Yeah.
So Artem Lobov was
It got personal.
He's a Russian. He's Irish Russian. Anyway, he trains with McGregor.
Yeah.
And he's good friends with McGregor.
Yeah.
And he was in the UFC for a little bit. He didn't do too well.
Yeah.
But there was something that he must have said or did that pissed off Khabib.
Khabib, yeah.
And then there was footage where backstage, Khabib and his guys kind of like cornered more.
Yeah.
There, said he
Oh,
showed
yeah,
up,
I saw
and he
that.
slapped him.
Yeah, yeah.
He slapped
Yeah,
Artem. And after that slap, McGregor saw these hurt and lost his shit.
Yeah.
Went over there. That's where the whole bus incident happened.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing
Through
is,
thing, and then that started up. And then
It was
it was
good
just
TV
drama.
though, man.
yeah,
It
but
was
the funniest,
entertaining.
Yeah,
thing
no, it
about
was.
it was, right, like if you
Mhm.
go look at the history of it all, right? Sorry if anyone, I don't know
Sorry,
if they
man,
can hear
but,
that, but yeah, you go look at the history of it. When McGregor was champion, there's pictures of Khabib backstage like fawning over him, taking photos with him when Khabib was a nobody.
Yep.
And then he got upset he wasn't getting a title shot and that. And then there's like things you see it like Adrian's saying. Everyone was going off about Conor with Poirier, but you go back on the history. Poirier was saying some stupid shit too.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
because he
They'll do
wasn't a
that.
big character, it wasn't getting amplified.
Yeah, exactly.
Conor's this big name, it gets,
Yeah.
you know, like they all do. They say some, like I said this to you on here. Mike Tyson said on live TV he was going to eat Lennox Lewis's children. No one gave a fuck. If he said that now,
Oh, forget it.
imagine Mike Tyson was now and he said that.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Man, the
living
co-
in a
Different,
different,
world, isn't it?
Oh, it's a different world. Oh,
But I remember,
say nothing
I
now.
was young and I remember when he said it. He's like, I'm going to make orphans of the children, I'm going to eat them. And everyone was like, oh yeah, no
everyone
worries.
turned to Lennox and said, all right.
Everyone was like, no worries, Lennox, what are you going to, yeah, exactly.
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
All the Karens will come out.
Yeah.
You finish, mate. But like that happens. Like, yeah, you know, you say something.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be careful what you say these days. So,
Oh, like,
but
and that's what the thing is. I think, like our age said, he got bad at for whatever reasons, he got bad at the trash talk.
Yeah.
Just wasn't working for him
Yeah.
anymore. Like it's, you know, like bring it back to Mike Tyson. The thing about his trash talk was Mike Tyson pretty much used to come out and just say, that was his name. I'm the baddest man on the planet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock you out.
Yeah.
And that was his trash talk. But everyone was like, oh fuck, he's probably gonna do that. So they did. They shit
Shit
themselves.
themselves, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I've watched an interview with Larry Holmes now, and he still can't accept it. He's like, nah, if I was in my prime, I would have beaten him.
Yeah.
And it's like, mate, you got knocked the fuck out.
Take your loss, you know.
Yeah, like it
It's
doesn't
what
matter, whatever.
is.
You were older, and like the whole story about it, you know, him telling Muhammad Ali, I'm going to avenge you and knock him out. Like it's like a romantic story, like, you know what I mean, in that sense. And mate, you got knocked the fuck out. Like just take it, like you're saying.
exactly.
Yeah, like you don't have to sit there and I would have done this, I would have done that. Like, mate, you took that fight and got KO'd.
Yeah.
Fucking accept it. Like,
Exactly.
but McGregor doesn't do that.
Nah, oh look, he takes defeat well. Like honestly, credit. He's one of those fighters. I gained more respect from McGregor
As a loss.
when he lost to
Yeah,
Diaz.
yeah.
Because he goes, look,
Whatever,
you guys
man.
underestimated him.
Yeah.
I underestimated this division. He was stronger than I expected. He goes, oh, well, you know, he goes, I probably didn't prepare well in regards to my fitness. Like I understood, you know, I did. He took it. He took it like
Even
a
the
champ.
first Poirier
And then
loss,
he
he
came
was the
back.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made no excuse for it. He and you know, look, the second Poirier loss, I mean, he was saying a whole bunch of stuff, but I honestly, I think we were even talking about it.
Mate,
he broke his leg.
Listen,
Do you know what I mean? Whatever's said in a situation like
Mate,
that, you get a pass in my
I've
opinion.
had a double leg fracture. Right?
yeah.
And you know what? Even on Joe Rogan, why are you interviewing the guy when
He
his leg is
should
like this?
not have been interviewed.
Because you know what? No one was talking, mate. Whatever anyone was saying to me when my leg was like that, man, oh fuck, they'll talk about it. But Chris, it's true, mate. I've had that injury.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going through, mate. You know the pain you're in, the agony you're in when
100%.
your leg is
So
like
he was.
that.
See, I never saw this. So like, he was interviewing him.
And he was on the
interviewing
floor
ground.
with a
On the
double leg
ground.
fracture,
And he was
bro.
saying, like, and look, he was saying things like, goes, oh, you know, I was
He was
punching his
losing
bleeding
it.
head off, I was kicking this and that. And look, he wasn't. Poirier was winning.
It was all
but
lies.
it's like, you know what? You give him the pass because in this situation right now, you don't know what you're saying.
Exactly,
Or
like-
even if he does it, regardless, whatever is said, you know, gets wiped. But in the other losses, he admitted to it. He admitted his loss. Oh, look, he made a bit of bullshit about his loss to Mayweather. He was claiming that he was just gassed. His legs weren't wobbly. Nah, your legs were
That's right, man. Like, yeah, like you're.
He's actually put on a bit of size now.
No, but you know what? Because they're talking about it now. They're saying his trainer is, and I don't really like his trainer, Kavanagh. He talks a bit of shit. But he come out and said, I think this is right what he said. He goes, look at the pictures of Conor when he was champion. He didn't look healthy. This is probably his more natural weight.
Yeah.
Now, he's a bit bulkier.
He's a bigger dude. Yeah.
It's probably, because like you said, he had power. Yeah. He probably wasn't meant to be 145 pounds. That's fuck all, man.
Yeah.
He was pretty light.
Like, what's 145 pounds? It's not, like, that's nothing. Like,
no.
It's absolutely nothing. Like, so this is probably more, like our Adrian saying he was fighting at 63 kilos. That's probably that weight, like 140. But that's lot,
It's pretty light, yeah.
Like, it's nothing, bro. Like, it's
you
so
seen
small.
him when he was in weightings. He was a twig.
Yeah.
He was
didn't
not
look
healthy
good.
at all.
Yeah.
Not healthy at all.
There you go, man. Messi
Messi
scored.
scored.
That goes well with my bet, man, because I got him for Golden Boot. Didn't I say to you tonight will be 6+.
You did say that. Yeah. But I reckon, like, if you're going to be a big player as a fighter, I reckon you're going to have the charisma.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to.
You're going to be good.
You have to.
And, obviously being, like, the right company as well.
100%.
You have to have that
But you need
charisma.
charisma. You need charisma.
And look, there's the other thing that comes down to is that everyone talks about, this one's cocky and all that.
You got to
It's
be.
confidence. You got to be.
Yeah,
You have to be. And and actually, Mayweather said it the best in one of his interviews. He goes, people say that he referred to himself as the greatest of all time.
Yeah, well, that's he's got to believe that, though, doesn't he?
And he goes, and it's exactly right. His thing is TBE, the best ever.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's not a disrespect to the Alis and the Frasers and all
No.
that. He goes, not disrespect. He goes, you need to believe this is
course.
if you don't, you shouldn't be boxing.
of course.
He goes, you've got to believe in yourself that you are the best.
Yeah.
And that you can beat the best. And he's 100% right. Because look, you see so many fights get lost before they even enter, and the reason is because they're already in their head thinking they're going to lose.
Yeah.
And look, at the end of the day, when it comes to fighting, you fight to win.
Yeah, I think it goes, like we were saying, it goes to every sport. Like we were saying about The Last Dance. Like, you telling me Michael Jordan, every time, he thought he was the best.
Yeah.
And not that he thought it, in his head, he knew he was the best.
Exactly right.
And he put things to, like they said it, Karl Malone didn't say hello to him or something, or didn't wave to him, but he used it as fucking ammunition. Oh, he didn't say, I'm going to fuck
exactly
you up.
right.
And it wasn't even disrespect, but he made it in his head.
No,
Oh,
I
he
think he
disrespected
didn't
me.
shake his hand or something.
Yeah, some shit like that.
And
I
that's
don't-
the thing.
Wow.
And that's the
Do it,
fuel
bro.
you need. Use
Yeah.
it. And the other thing is that, like, when it comes to athletes, there's two types of athletes.
Yeah,
Ego-driven,
of course.
opportunity-driven
Of
athletes.
course, man.
Those that are ego-driven, they're the ones that have that natural talent. Natural talent.
Yeah.
And people said, oh, like my kid's got to be the greatest. He's great. He's this and that. And then at school, that was your identity, is that you're this particular athlete in the
100%.
sport. And they identified with it. And then their ego got so big that they identified with it. And the biggest thing is, like, the thing we worry about is losing our identity.
Of course.
And so when it came time to go up against people that were good, a lot of these people would take it backward. And they're the people that make excuses. So they said, oh, I hurt my knee or whatever, because they don't want to admit that someone was better than them, because now their identity's lost. Because they're always this big thing.
Yeah.
Opportunity driven are the ones that they'll take any opportunity.
Yeah.
They were
Like
Ali,
Volkanovski.
They didn't. Not that they didn't care about losing. Ken Moses Jr.
Yeah.
It's not that they didn't care about losing. They wanted to win. They didn't want to lose.
What's that Australian one that rejected that fight recently and it's tarnished him?
Zarafa.
Zarafa.
Yeah, and look,
There
that's
you
the
go.
thing, is that you look at those situations, is that as an opportunity-driven athlete, you want to be the best.
Yeah.
Like, you're not trying to hold a best persona. You want to be the best, and you want to prove that you're the best.
Yeah.
So you take Izzy, credit to him, he is opportunity-driven, that he'll fight
Yeah.
the best. He wants to fight the best to prove that he is the best. And Michael Zarafa, that's an interesting one. Because,
Yeah, I know, like...
well, now he's left his team.
Yeah, I know.
And
See, did they make him do it? That's the...
Well, now there's all this talk about... Oh, look, they claim that he's come out, and they said, I remember watching an interview between him and Sam LeBrun, his trainer at the time, where they did an interview to clear the air. And as I watched it, I was like, he didn't really explain what happened. And my understanding what happened is that his team pretty much weren't going to go for... couldn't do 2-week lockdown.
Yeah.
So they weren't
Yeah,
willing to
that's
go
right.
for 2-week lockdown because they couldn't take time off work, family commitments, whatever it
Whatever.
was. And for that reason, they wanted to reschedule and all this crap.
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, is that I think he was getting a guaranteed $300,000 for that fight.
Shit.
If you wanted to... I could be wrong about that. But it was good money. Regardless,
Yeah,
it was
of
good
course.
money. Personally, if it was me... Now, look, this fight against Sue, if you believed you could beat him,
Yeah.
you knew that if you beat Sue, this was going to open big doors for you for big fights,
Yeah.
bigger stages.
Yeah.
That money you shouldn't have given a shit.
Yeah.
And you should have been like, you know what? So to your team, fuck it, take this money that we'll make for this fight to cover the 2 weeks that you would lose.
Yeah.
And come with me, or if you're not going to come with me, I'll go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You guys have 250 grand of this 300 grand.
Yeah,
because
you know what?
It's going to open so
I
many
believe I'm
doors.
going to win, and this is the opportunity of, this is the big opportunity. This is my next stepping stone.
Yeah.
And so I've talked plenty of times to Stan Longinides.
Yeah.
So the gym that I train out of, Forge Warriors Academy,
Stan was champion.
Stan was former world champion.
I'm saying he was so
champion,
good, man,
and he was great. And he actually endorses Forge Warriors Academy.
Stan,
and he's come down. I've talked to him quite a few times now. And I remember him talking about the fight he did with Alexis.
Yeah.
And
I actually think Chris knows Stan well. Like my brother Chris.
All right, yeah.
He just, the age group.
Yeah. And Stan wanted this fight because at the time this was the heavyweight champion, and he wouldn't fight him. He goes, no, he's Stan Longinides is a small fish in a big pond. No, I'm not gonna fight him.
Stan was champion, bro.
Stan said, he goes, I didn't make a set from that fight. He goes, I gave him whatever he wanted. He goes, and he spent all his money decking out an area to train, like a training camp where he's isolated so he could get ready for this fight. And he won first round, broke Alexis' leg.
Yeah.
And he won the first round. He didn't make a cent from that fight.
Yeah.
He wanted that fight. And he knew that. He knew he was going to win that fight. He had in himself, I'm confident, I'm the best. I'm going to win this fight. And if I win this fight, I'm world champ. And it opened up doors for him.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel like as a fighter you should be looking at.
Yeah.
You should not care about the... I'm not going to say you shouldn't care about the money because you've got to feed your family. Like,
of course.
100%. There's definitely... And look, Zarafa's probably got... I don't know his personal life. He maybe needed that money, more than anything. So from that point of view, I can't judge from that. But say that he didn't make the money because he didn't fight anyway. So, but
I think the boys knew him through John Chaniotis. That's how. Because that's who we used to train with at J&A. John fought for the world title too. He was kickboxer. Like,
look,
all the Greek boys just knew each other. That's what it was.
You want to be the best, and look, the money is just the money. When you get to a certain point, that's where you can be money.
Man.
But you should be trying to work towards that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look, and Michael Zarafa is now talking about fighting Triple G, which is good on him because that's a good fight. Triple G's a good fighter, and if he wins that one, he then wants to fight Tim too. Which then, you know what? In a way, it's going to build that fight's going to be worth more now than what it was back then.
Of course, man.
So in a way,
yeah.
Probably not bad, kind of a business choice overall. But
so Don't At Me says, didn't Demetrius Johnson get dropped from the UFC for not putting on a show, even though he won every fight?
Correct. Yeah.
Is that correct?
So he did. He won his last fight with the UFC. He did lose one against Cejudo.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he did win all the other ones.
And he got dropped.
And he got dropped because he was entertaining enough.
He was boring.
And but you know what? But in saying that, purists with mixed martial arts will still say he's one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
And he's a fantastic fighter.
Yeah.
He's doing great one championship. He did get knocked down one championship recently though, so that's an interesting kind of where he's going to bet. It's always interesting with those fights. You want to know, are you going to bounce back?
Yeah.
How they're going to come back from this loss. But 100% great fighter.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was in the, I don't know if it's featherweight or bantamweight,
Yeah.
but that division is just, people just aren't interested in it.
Yeah.
That's where it gets hard.
Yeah.
Is that people are interested in that division. But Mighty Mouse was he's a great fighter. And unfortunately, he's one of the very few that got dropped when he was up there.
Really? There you go.
Because he just...
So, I reckon we should put Adrian on the spot. What do you reckon?
Why not? We do that to everyone.
Who, if you're asked, who do you reckon is the best UFC fighter ever?
Ever.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I think I think there's a great shout for, like, you got to put John Jones in there, GSP, even Silver. Like, you got to.
Yeah.
And then like I said, you got to go back to some of those early guys like Shamrock and that. Like,
how about Lesnar? Lesnar.
Listen, Lesnar was.
He wasn't in it long enough.
No,
in my
I don't think
opinion.
it's
So
long enough,
you know what? If you want to talk about you know what? Because if you want to talk about heavyweights, the best, Velasquez.
Yeah,
hands
I
down,
agree.
Cain Velasquez.
And Cain
of
Velasquez,
all time, best
he
heavyweight.
fucked up, Rock.
Isn't he in jail?
He did.
Oh,
He just got out on parole.
Oh,
He's on
okay.
parole.
Which is
and the fact that they even did anything to him for that, mate, for what that guy did to his daughter.
And that guy, his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that guy was walking. He's on probation.
Mate, and you know what?
Parole.
You know what I was like? It's like, so this guy touched his kid, right? Was a pedophile. And he hunted him down, was about, mate, no, couldn't the cops just arrest him a minute later? Let him put that pedophile in his place. Let him at least, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then you,
That situation.
that's what I'm saying. And then you, and then you
messed
trial
up.
the bloke for that. Like,
Yeah,
give me a break.
you know what? The
Like,
worst part
seriously.
is that guy who's accused of
It's
you know,
apparently
a pedophile.
400 kids or something, isn't it? Like it's
Well, the thing is, it was
It's been going on
it was
for
a
years.
childcare
yeah for
that
years.
his mum and stepdad run out of the house, and he works the childcare as
Oh,
well.
right.
But he's out on probation.
yeah.
So what does that mean?
For it.
That means it can come fight?
Hey,
Is he still an active fighter though?
no,
Who,
no, no, he's done.
Velasquez?
He retired. He
He's
retired.
retired.
Well, that's
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
can see his knees.
He
are
copped
fucked.
too many injuries. And
His
he
knee.
just
You see
retired.
him when he went
Yeah.
to
And
WWE. He couldn't walk. He's
And
like,
that's the sad part with him too, is that he was still in his prime. He just got too many injuries,
Yeah.
and he just couldn't fight because of
Yeah.
injuries. But he was an all rounder as a heavyweight. Like
oh, he was a beast.
you watch him fight someone like Dos Santos, where
And I like
he-
Dos Santos too. I used to
he's
like
a great
Junior.
fighter
I
too,
like Junior. Yeah.
and he used levels like what
he
we're talking
killed
about,
him.
picking your shots. You know,
He killed
would
him.
throw up high. They'll bring their guard up. He brought in the knee, dropped their guard, coming with it. You know, he just used the level. He was
He
amazing
smashed
fighter.
Lesnar, didn't he?
Yeah,
But there was
yeah,
a few
yeah.
good fighters, but at that time, then like there
there
was
was great ones,
Machida, Dos Santos,
Yeah.
Velasquez. It was like
There's
they
some
were
great
all
fights.
good, man. I think they all held the belt at one stage too.
Yeah.
Randy
Yeah.
Couture was one of them as well.
He was a bit earlier than them,
I
like,
think
and he was
he
more
was
light
just
heavyweight.
transitioning out as they were transitioning
Yeah.
up.
And he was more light heavyweight. When he only did heavyweight for
He was the first one, not simultaneously, but first one to hold
do both
had
divisions.
both.
Yeah.
Sorry, become champion both
Yeah,
divisions. Yeah. So
Wow.
oh
yeah.
the natural man. He was a champion.
I used to love watching Lesnar. I mean, I'm a wrestling fan, but I used to love.
Oh, listen, the
his
way,
power.
mate, the way
He
he
was-
moved for
way
that
he moved
size
for
is
that
Middle-
size.
middleweight.
ridiculous. Yeah, the way he moved was ridiculous.
Because you don't see that, man.
Nah.
A
He
guy
was-
like that.
I remember he was on top and he was just like doing the. It
Yeah.
was crazy the way he moved.
Well, he was a wrestling champion as well. Like not
Oh no,
not
he,
WWE. I'm talking
like
about
Olympic.
like
the rest of it.
Olympic
Yeah, he was
and,
crazy.
and you know
Like college
freestyle
wrestling. Yeah, like
college
listen,
wrestling. Yeah.
the thing about him as well is if a guy like, you know, people say precision and that whatever, but in the heavyweight division, if Brock punches you and gets you flush, you're
Oh,
fucked.
of course.
The guy's huge. So Ngannou, the guy, it's not even. It's like he's got so much power. It doesn't even matter about the precision. He hits someone, you're gone.
Yeah, he's a lot
Like-
of power. Yeah, he does. He's got a lot of explosiveness the way he
Oh,
moves.
dude.
So
Like
I
look at
love
Brock. He's
watching
in his 40s, bro, and he's like,
yeah,
Yeah.
look at him. Like he's
he's still wrestling.
yeah,
very
that's what I
fit.
mean. Like he
He's
still
still
looks
gone.
good. He's
Yeah.
But he doesn't do much now. He's just like he does like one pay per view maybe.
listen.
Yeah, that's
I
about it, really.
think you can't take probably. Listen, he's tarnished because of his out of the ring things, but I don't think you can take much away from John Jones. Like his.
Oh look, yeah, 100%. Look,
I remember watching when
as
he
a
first
fighter,
came on the
he's
scene,
one of the greatest.
and he was fucking
Is that the
everyone.
guy that like broke down the door?
Oh, in the Ultimate Fighter,
Yeah.
Rampage.
Rampage. Oh, he was a legend
Oh,
too.
I
I loved
thought he was-
Rampage. I loved Rampage.
Yeah, he was good.
Loved Rampage, but he was a personality man. That's what was good about
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Randy was champion, and then he played Mr. T's character on the new A Team.
Yeah, he was a true character.
Oh, he was a
Didn't
good
have a
character,
goal.
wasn't he? Yeah, yeah.
Messi, mate, he's too good.
Is it
It's like watching, you know,
my eyes offside, man?
he's
It's like my
offside.
bet looking good.
Oh,
Now you know what Adrian made the point before. Messi, they're like, I was thinking that when he was saying it, you know, like him and Ronaldo, like you know, they say they're two of the greatest, but it was like he's like so effortless,
yeah.
whereas Ronaldo, you can know, has worked, trained
Yeah.
to be
get
like that.
that.
Like yeah.
Is there
It's like-
is there anyone like that in fighting? Like someone's just naturally.
well, you know,
good?
you said they've all got a background. What background was Volkanovski's? Did he have? It was just MMA, isn't
To
it?
be honest, he just went straight to MMA.
Just MMA.
Yeah,
And look
I
at
mean,
him, the
it's
guy's
kind of like you
champion.
said, you know, he was a rugby player, which,
Yeah.
you know,
And a plumber.
yeah. Oh, concrete, I think.
Yeah, concrete.
yeah.
That's right.
And
Even crazy.
yeah, so he's one that you could say. I'm not gonna take away and say natural talent. Like he's obviously worked hard,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Oh, of course.
But he's a gifted
Yeah,
fighter.
gifted.
So,
Natural.
yeah.
Well, I'll give you an example of someone that you like. No, like CM Punk went to do MMA, right, from wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And I watch a thing on Joe Rogan with him, and they go, "Man, he trained for 6 months, and still didn't know how to throw a punch." And then Joe Rogan
Yeah,
was
yeah.
saying it. He goes, "The thing about him is, he goes, you wrestling fans might not like to hear this and that." He goes, "He's got no talent."
Yeah.
That's what he said. He goes, he knows how to do the wrestling, athleticism, and that. He goes, but he goes, you could see it when he was training. He goes, he's just got no zilch talent.
He was just an emo kid, man, growing up.
Yeah,
as a
whatever.
wrestling
I'm not having a shot at him. Like
And-
he's obviously a
fan.
millionaire
Like,
from
and
the
then like his name catapulted him to. MMA.
But like the way he put it, he described it. He goes, he goes, anyone could go in a gym, he was saying, after 6
Yeah.
months, and you should know how to throw a punch.
Yeah.
You know, training every day, and he goes, he still didn't know how to throw a punch. He goes like,
Yeah, that's kind of. He shouldn't have gone to.
and then he fought. Dana White gave him
Well, you
2
know what?
fights, like
Gave him a chance.
because of the name.
Yeah.
He knows it's going to bring money.
Well, he
in.
did bring money. He did bring a lot of
That's
money.
right.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
But you know, like,
I think Dana White gets a bit of a bad rep a lot of the time.
well, Jake
Like-
Paul hates him.
No, but like you were saying, you know, like, okay, he might not do everything right, but what promoter does? You telling me Dana White's as bad as Don King? No fucking way, mate. Don King was ruining people's lives.
Exactly right.
Like,
I don't know. I've heard bad stories that he doesn't pay like. the
yeah,
un-
no, but
the
like, that's what I'm saying.
undercard
Then you
that
look
he
at
gets
like
paid very well.
Adrian's point of view, like,
But-
look at the platform he gives them.
Exactly.
So,
It's true. It's true.
like, I just think he gets, you know, yeah, like I said, he might not do everything right, but no one does. No
Yeah.
coach, no
Yeah.
anything, no anyone does anything right. No president does everything right. Like,
Nah,
it's,
exactly right.
you
Are you
know,
going to be going over to Perth for the?
we talked about it, didn't we?
I'll watch it.
If it was in Melbourne, man, I would have
Yeah,
went.
if it was
What
on
you
the
saying?
East Coast, different story. You know, a bit easy to get to. But
Let's just go far,
Why
bro.
can't they come to Adelaide?
Where
We
you
just don't
lived,
have-
you lived in Perth for a bit, right?
I did.
So where would they hold an event like this?
Perth Arena it's called. So
It's
it's
not.
like,
that's what we were saying. It's not like it won't be at Subiaco or.
nah, Subiaco doesn't exist.
No, I'm just saying. Like, I'll give an
Nah,
example.
Perth Arena is like they built this new purposely built stadium
Just for that.
in the city. It's like an entertainment center.
Yeah.
But it's
Does it
better.
hold many?
Oh, it's
Like, because Melbourne, wouldn't they
20,000?
like do Rod Laver or something at Melbourne? It'll be
15,
huge,
20,000.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
I would have thought so.
Maybe 15, 20,000. It's like entertainment center.
I would have thought Rod Laver would be
that's what I'm saying. Rod Laver at Melbourne, and like people would go to it. It's like,
100%. You
They'll
get
pack
people
it
all
out.
east.
where's he from? Where's Alex from?
Sure, it's Sydney.
Sydney.
South
Do it in
Wales, yeah.
Sydney, bro. Give it me.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I would
man.
love to have it here.
Oh, but where are we gonna have it? Like my brother.
Entertainment center's the only place, but I don't think are we allowed to have cage fights here in
I
Adelaide?
don't know.
Don't know.
Like my brother, George, that you've met, my other brother, he saw Cain Velasquez in Melbourne,
Yeah.
like fight
Well,
for
we
the title.
had it here once, didn't we, with Mark Hunt?
Yeah,
Fight.
probably,
Yeah, yeah.
probably,
In a
yeah,
cage?
yeah, probably
Yeah,
entertainment center.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
I've seen the
Okay.
WWE entertainment
Look,
center.
maybe if everything lines up right and we're all free, maybe you can come on the watch along and watch it here.
Volkanovski.
That's
What do you
it.
reckon?
Yeah.
We'll do a watch along Volkanovski.
Sounds
If
good.
everyone's free, obviously.
Yeah, sounds good.
Got a line up. I'm sure we'll make it. It's next year, isn't it? February.
February 1st, maybe? No, I don't know. February sometime.
Heard it here first. If it all lines up,
If it all lines up, we'll do a.
but we'll actually have a insight into a fighting person with us.
Imagine it goes from
Not
like
just, not just
1
me
minute.
going, come on, Volk. No, but you know that's the thing. Like fights. I remember when Roy Jones fought. Was Danny Green, and the fight was like a minute. I was like,
But there's a whole card. So
yeah,
it's
no,
not
it's
like one
right.
fight.
You can watch the whole
So-
thing. Yeah,
But that match, I can't. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward.
I'll be
to it.
good. It'll be good.
Like I've never really got into UFC, but I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
So like we've touched on everything. Like what's
Any final questions?
what other fights are you looking forward to? Anything else like on the cards in regards to that? Like,
And I'm just looking forward
do you think
when
Whitaker will get
goes.
Pereira?
He first one's Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
So he'll take.
Yeah,
him on
because he's got that
first,
soon, doesn't he?
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
hopefully he gets a shot after that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's
And
fine.
because it's Whitaker and it's on the same card, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
You reckon he beats Costa?
100%.
No, it's been a good podcast, man. Thanks for coming
Yeah,
in.
no, thank you. for having me.
I can't think of anything else to ask you. Got anything?
No, man.
I think I'll be like when we leave, like I'll ask you this. But no, it's good to have you on, and
thank you.
yeah,
So-
like
that one question I'll ask him. I said, aside from do you miss fighting? Like now you're a physio, obviously you're working.
I do miss it. A
You
lot.
miss it?
do you train at all? Like any training?
Oh, look, I haven't for a
Does
while.
your brother
because-
still do it? You said, does he still?
Oh, look, he's got 2 kids now, 2 little ones.
Yeah.
So he just trains to keep fit, but
Yeah.
doesn't compete.
Did he ever
I-
fight in the ring?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had 7 fights too.
Boxing?
Actually. Yeah, boxing fights. Yeah.
Oh wait, did you guys ever fight each other?
No,
was-
we sparred a lot.
If it was
Yeah,
brother
yeah,
brother
yeah.
v brother, man,
Yeah.
which twin wins?
Oh, it depends on which discipline we're looking at.
Say the little brother.
Yeah,
That's what I
little
always say.
ones.
I'm the little brother, so I always say the little brother.
Yeah.
Little brother always wins.
Oh, it's great. But
That's good, man. How'd you enjoy the podcast, man?
No,
Did
it's
you-
good, man.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's good.
man.
No.
it's a different
I'm
experience.
always happy to talk about fun.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
it, some
Well,
passion.
look, we'll probably, as I said, we're going to do more like watch-alongs and that. So
Yeah, man. I'll be
if you're available to come to them,
100%, man. I'll be
Oh,
keen.
dude, we like.
and we're available, and we can.
I mean, like Adrian. It doesn't. If Adrian's wants to come on, man, it doesn't have to be about fighting. Come on the podcast whenever he wants, man.
Yeah,
He's
thanks,
more than
man.
more than
No,
welcome.
Appreciate it.
He's come on and he's talked better than a lot of people we've had on the first go, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, you're basically the first person we've actually talked to about something.
Yep.
Like we've had Rob on,
Yeah.
But he's
yeah.
one of our friends. And then
Yeah.
we've had the King of the North.
Yeah.
He's been on.
Yeah. But then again, one of your friends.
One of our friends.
Yeah.
So we haven't really had anyone like yourself come and, we got Giuseppe coming next week.
Well, I
We'll
became friends with Adrian. He was my physio. That's
Yeah. Nah, it's nice. Like, it's nice to see someone, come in and talk about what they're passionate about.
Well, I first said it to. I said it to Abe. I was like, "Have you ever thought about doing a podcast, man?" I was like, "Because the way you talk about it, like you could do your own podcast."
Yeah, you talk really well, man. So
no, but I think because of
Thank
you could have that niche and just do a fighting podcast.
Yeah, look, honestly, I would love,
you could do it with your brother. Really?
that's true.
You ever thought about it? Like
That's a good point. That would
Oh, you could, man. Like, because you could have that niche and just a fighting thing and like.
You could, man.
Like we just did it. We just.
did
I always wanted to do a podcast, and like I said to Chris, Matt, I was always getting told growing up I talk too much. So.
His dad reckons he can talk underwater with a
mouthful of marbles.
Mouthful of marbles.
I'm upset that Adrian didn't get to meet the Don, man. He's away.
Oh, you never met the Don yet?
Yeah, because he's away.
Oh, mate.
He's not here.
You know what happens is like the Godfather music comes on.
Yeah, right.
He's away. He's away at the moment. So
yeah. But no, we've got a massive show on Saturday, guys. So
Don't At Me says, Adrian, you've been a great addition.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Massive show coming up on Saturday.
We do have a massive show. We're doing a huge watch along for the Australia game, and then I'm not sure what's the next game after that. I can't remember what the second game is, but we're going to do both games.
Yeah.
We're going to have John here. Jimmy's hopefully going to come. Rob's going to be here.
And this giveaway is going off, guys.
We're doing a giveaway for the 1,000 subs that we just reached.
1,000 subs giveaway. So you win a HFD hoodie and a PlayStation $100 voucher. So, guys, when you rock up, you might be a winner.
Yeah, definitely.
On Saturday. So we'll see who wins that one.
You know what? There is one more question I was going to ask.
Yeah.
What was that?
Someone asked it to us before it happened. Asked me, like, do you think Izzy's? I think Don't At Me said it. Do you think Izzy's run is coming to an end? And I said, listen, I think Whittaker, if they fight again, will beat him. Did you expect him to lose in the UFC to Pereira?
I looked truthfully.
I didn't
if you put something to bet on, I would have bet on Izzy.
Yes, me too.
I would have bet on Izzy because
even though he'd lost to him twice, I still would have bet because he'd fought more fights in the UFC.
Yeah, he's felt the stage, he's felt the presence, So honestly, look, I didn't expect Pereira to become champion.
Yeah.
In all honesty, him coming to UFC, I thought it's going to be one of the situations where a striker's coming into it, he'll do well, but when he gets up to that. There's a fair few people who'd have to get in front of first.
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't be able to do it. He's obviously has, and he did a good job of it. But in saying that, rematch, I wouldn't put Izzy out of it. I wouldn't expect, I would think Izzy would come pretty strong in a
say they have a rematch before Whittaker gets anything, Izzy loses. What is that? Do you think he's?
Look. It's
because
situation. There's a guy
he's a bit older than I thought. Actually, is he? He's 34. I think. I didn't realize.
33, I think.
33. Yeah. So say he doesn't fight for 6 months, comes back, loses again.
Yeah.
Then he's not allowed to fight for another 3 or 6 months. Well, you're 35, 36 by then. You could just be done.
Look, he always beat the other ones, like everyone else in the top ranks.
Sort of like what Whittaker did.
But
Whittaker
there's always that one guy that's above you. It's like Colby Covington.
Yeah.
Great fighter, but Usman was always just that one level.
See, that's the other... There you go. Because he said it. Sorry, before we go. I never thought I'd see Usman and Izzy lose in the same year. Yeah. Did you think that?
Actually, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
I didn't think... That one, to me, was more of a shock than Izzy losing.
Yeah. It's a shame because it would be
cool. And you remember, we've got a syndicate. You bet on him to lose on points. He just took a wild shot. And I said, okay, dude, if you're going to bet it, you should have bet for him to lose on knockout because I got on points. But
would have won a bit of money.
I never thought he'd lose.
Won a lot of money out of that one.
He's like one of the best I've seen too. I never thought he'd lose.
To get knocked out.
And you know what? If they fight again, like you think he'll probably win. You put your money on him to win the rematch, don't you?
100%.
Yeah, so I'm sure to see them both lose in the same year, that's crazy, man. I never thought I'd see that. Yeah.
And one question I've got, like, did you actually see the big thing that happened at who was fighting?
Oh, the undercard of the Floyd Mayweather thing.
Yeah, did you see that? What happened?
Tate and Paul.
Nah.
With Tommy
Fury and Jake Paul.
Not Tommy Fury, the dad. What's the dad's name? John. John went off at Jake Paul. He took his top off and he was.
Yeah, how we're talking about charismatic and stuff happening. Like
He lost it.
dude, it was so like when I was watching it, I was like, man, this is entertaining.
Yeah,
Man.
because he was.
I want to see what's gonna happen
No,
next.
because you could see he was a grown man, and you could see he was genuinely telling Jake Paul, "Come in the ring now, and I'll knock you out." Like he was.
right.
He's like crazy.
Yeah.
He's a Gypsy King.
He
You know,
is,
like
man.
he's a form like a. I don't know if you've actually heard him,
John.
Tyson Fury, say where his nickname
Yeah,
Gypsy
yeah,
King comes
yeah,
from.
yeah.
Is that he was saying that the Gypsy King is that so back with the Gypsies in
Whatever.
is that they had the street fights more or
Yeah.
less. So clans would fight,
Yeah.
and if you were undefeated, you were the Gypsy King. And his
And so
grandfather
John-
was Gypsy King.
and
His
his dad.
father apparently was Gypsy King.
John,
And that's where he carries his name. And
John
that's
was-
where
John,
he looks
John was
crazy.
crazy,
he
man.
looks like a solid unit. that
He's
guy.
solid,
a
bro.
solid unit.
Listen, you know the funniest thing is, you know how his nickname's the Gypsy King. I was watching him. He was on Mike Tyson's podcast, and he was talking about why he named him after Mike
Yeah.
Tyson.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
because Tyson Fury was born premature, and they told John, "Listen, he's gonna be a runt."
Yep.
That's what the doctor said, and he goes, "Don't call him that." You know, like Tyson, and he goes, "I'm naming him after Mike Tyson. He's my idol," and they go, "He's gonna be a runt," and then he ended up being 6'10".
And world champ.
Yeah.
So like, you know, sometimes
Oh, that's
so,
ironic.
like,
isn't
what
it?
does that say to you,
Wow.
man? Sometimes, man, the doctors might be telling you something
Yep.
Yeah,
Mate,
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
completely wrong.
But he-
Like,
Crazy. But that actual like when Tommy Fury just like laid into Jake Paul because Jake Paul was like, I've got the footage. Yeah, I'll show you if you want after we finish.
Yeah.
But he was like talking trash to him on.
yeah, because what happened was Jake Paul was commentating, and for the whole fight,
Yeah.
he was just like giving Tommy
Yeah.
Fury shit. Like,
Yeah.
And then like
You
Tommy
know,
Fury's
as they
like
do.
losing it afterwards, and then he wanted to kill him. And then you got Tate there as well. Andrew Tate's there in the building.
Yeah. Right.
And it's
Yeah.
all this, and then you had KSI there. You had KSI
because he does some fights too.
right, and it's just all these heads were there, and it was just crazy.
Yeah, recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and you just sell like these people like would sell out like if they fought because there's so much controversy behind it, and people are interested in that. Not interested in the boxing as you said, but interested in the drama.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Do you know what I mean? So it's entertaining, man.
So actually, the grandfather was actually the Gypsy King too.
Apparently,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
my dad the Don has told me stories about, like in Cyprus, like they've got gypsies and that
Yeah.
there, and my dad goes, they're next level, mate.
Yeah.
Like, and this, from Europe, he goes, you don't mess around with them.
Yeah.
Like they're just, so it tells you like he must be
Yeah.
crazy, like John Fury must be like,
Oh,
he
yeah.
must be crazy. But he does
No,
look
he looked
solid.
he looked like he was going to kill. Like I thought he was actually going to jump out and kill
Oh,
Jake
mate,
Paul.
for whatever,
And he would have killed Jake Paul.
Dude.
He would have just like
100%.
bang.
for a 60-year-old man to take his top off and say, "Let's fight" to a 25-year-old,
Yeah, yeah.
you got
Yeah.
you're either crazy or you can back yourself. Like that's.
100%.
I just wanted to point that out because like when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is
But
exciting.
it's just the drama,
Yeah,
isn't
so-
it? Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
But yeah, I thought maybe you'd have seen it. But I'll show it if you want.
You
I'll
show
show
him
it.
up, yeah. Yep.
But anyway, any more chats to come out before
Well,
we go?
Don't At Me says Argentina are dropping like bowling pins. Reeves says, damn, offside again, because I think there's been like 3 offside goals while we've been watching. So there's been a couple offside goals. What's this? Surprised he hasn't come in and asked. Oh, someone said, where's Zakal, man? We got this fan that always comes in from Sydney, Zakal. Everyone's saying, where's Zakal? And then
Oh.
everyone says, literally, I was thinking the same thing 10 minutes ago. He hasn't come in tonight. Surprised he hasn't come in to ask you where the Xbox Krispy Kreme was, man.
Did you see what Domi wrote further up? He goes, I'm winning it for sure, and he's going to give the price of the car.
Yeah, that's what he said. So like, everyone talks about these food things. But when we were a food channel, the big man did a couple challenges.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this place is it Grange Road, isn't it? Beef Cakes and
Yeah.
Shakes.
Yeah, I did this.
They've got this big V challenge.
Yeah, right.
And Chris is one of only 3 people. Like people have come from around the country to do it.
Yeah, right.
Chris is one of only 3 people that have like done it.
Fair.
This thing was
thing was like this.
it's got 6 patties, Adrian, and
Oh.
6 chicken fillets as well, 8 rashers of bacon, and you got to have the chips and the shake. And like Chris, like I don't know how the fuck he did it, but he did another
Oh.
challenge where he did He did 5 Whoppers in 8 minutes.
I did 10 cheeseburgers in
10
5.
cheeseburgers in like 5 minutes.
yeah.
But you said that was easy.
That was easy. Compared to that.
The only challenges I've done are the chili ones, man. Like, are you good with chili?
I'm alright.
Yeah.
I do like chili.
You should give him the chip.
Nah.
I feel bad, man. It's coming
I
to
feel bad
guest.
too.
It's coming to guest and give him the chip. man.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
And guys, take it easy. We'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah.
stay hunky.
That's it. See you
See
later.
you later, guys.